voice in the kitchen humming softly. She turned and smiled like the day we first met. No more waiting for us, no regrets. The mirror holds a younger man's eyes. Clear blood, clean heart, no compromise. They said it once, the tumor is gone, but I knew it long before the dawn. I knew this day, I held it close like sacred flame. I saw the crowd, I heard my name, long before the banners came. Her hand is warm, and their voice is kind. They bow and say, your story's mine. I'm not surprised it came this way. I lived it once, I knew this day. The screen goes dark, the silence hums, and then applause like rising drums. To chase she's scarred.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Geaux Stros here with a, guess what, game 2 against the very easy to beat, especially at home in Dyking Park, Oakland A's. The Astros put up such a great fight yesterday. We scored so many runs, and the pitching was just on point. And we just barely lost 5-2. Looking forward to a slightly better performance today than yesterday, if you know what I say. I appreciate you all being here today. It is 9:03 in the morning here in Hiroshima, Japan. Greetings from Nihon, Japan. I appreciate you all being here today. I went to bed around 9, maybe 9:15 at the latest. I was feeling pretty tired and sleepy, and I was really happy to get conked out early because, you know, tonight, tomorrow's game is a little earlier, and then the game 4 is even earlier than that. For me, it's super early. Game 4 is going to be around 3 in the morning, so I was very happy to get to bed early, but I don't know what in the world was going on, but twice last night I was woken up by a freaking spider. You know, it's not one of those roaming spiders like the brown recluse or anything like that, or a wolf spider. It was it was like a medium-sized spider, but, you know, still unnerving. The kind that has like those stringy webs. They kind of explore a little bit. They use their web to kind of explore the area and stuff. That sucker woke me up twice last night. The second time was 4:30 in the morning, and the second time I was like, you know what, forget that. Time to get up and do some crap. So I went ahead and got up, did a few things, checked out some stories, saw that the unfortunate news, for those of you who may not know yet, saw the unfortunate news that Brandon Walter, one of our surprisingly good starting pitchers, is now on the injured list with elbow inflammation. And of course, with the Astros, you know how they are, the management there and the staff, they, for all we know, we won't see him back for 2 or 3 years. You never know. You never know. If we're lucky, it'll be a short-term thing. He'll be feeling better and get rehabilitated, and he'll be back. But as it stands right now, he's on the IL, and the Astros are continuing to not only lead the MLB in injuries, but pile on. But I read something that was quite interesting. If it makes you feel any better, I believe it was in 2019, the all-time record for injuries in a season, both total injuries and simultaneous injuries, players on the injury list at the same time, belongs to the New York Stankies, actually. At one time, they had 29 players on the injured list. Can you believe that? And more than 30 players total that year, either on the injury list or on the injury list more than once, 2 or 3 times. So, don't feel too bad. The only way that the Astros could match that or beat that is to stay on this pace of injuries. And I just don't see them doing that. So, fret not, my dears. Fret not. Let's take a quick look at the Astros lineup for today. Gusto is on the mound for the Stros. I'm glad to see him actually starting the game instead of them just kind of shoehorning him in there after McCullers fails or breaks down. I don't think he does as well in those situations. Anyway, Cam Smith is in right field leading it off for the Astros today, followed by Altuve, who's at second base, which is where I prefer him to be. Victor Caratini, the Batman, is batting third in the DH spot. Christian Walker cleanup at first base. Batting fifth is Yainer Diaz, catching today. For some strange reason, Cooper Hummel is batting sixth with his amazing 167 batting average and OPS of 552. He's tearing it up. Mauricio Dubon batting seventh at third base. Chas McCormick, the Chasmabian Devil, is in center field today, batting eighth. And rounding out this high-profile all-star lineup is Zach Short at short. And that's your Astros lineup for today. Astros / Space Cowboys / wannabes / second chancers / veterans / fill in the blank. Of course, we are at Daikin Park. Astros got a little bit of a homestand going on between the A's and the Nationals. We've got 3 more games, including today's game versus the Athletics, before we host the Nationals for 3 more. Thanks for the advice, Chris. Normally, I don't bother the spiders, but when they keep, they keep landing on me and crawling on me in the middle of the night, I really don't like that. Normally, I leave them alone, but this one just kept bothering me. But I've got a plan to deal with that. I'm trying to move rooms right now because I have to do foundation repair at my house. Gusto warming up on the mound right now, by the way. And there are 2 main things that I have to do before I can get to the foundation. One, of course, being move things out of these rooms. The second thing being pull up the floorboards. And then the third thing being fix the foundation, fix the supports. I'm doing a little bit of cleaning as I go, but I'm trying to limit it as much as possible because I don't want to waste too much time. I'm really trying to get down to that foundation and add some stuff. But yeah, I don't want to kill the spider. I don't like killing insects. Sometimes I have to because they just won't stop bothering me. And sometimes they actually try to cause me harm. You know the Japanese hornet? These Japanese hornets that they have here, they are very dangerous. Normally they leave me alone, but sometimes they come and just buzz at me and get angry with me for no reason. And the other day, one landed on me. I immediately ended him before he had a chance to sting me. Here's the first pitch from Gusto rather. 94 miles an hour on the top of the zone. Strike one. Carlos Cortez is leading off. 71 games, mostly in AAA. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Right in there again, 95. 94 and 95. Is this next one going to be 96? Swing and miss? 'Tis my guess. 'Tis my guess it is. Here comes the 0-2 from Gusto. Hey, look at that. I predicted the future. I kid you not. I predicted it. 96 miles an hour, swing and a miss. I kid you not. Look at that. It's right there on the replay. 96 mile per hour, four-seam fastball. 94, 95, 96. 3 up and 3 down. Can you believe that? Time for me to go get some more lottery tickets. Nick Kurtz at the plate with 1 out. Fouls this one off. 95 in the top of the zone? That's right. That's right, Judy. It's not roses you smell. It's Gusto's no-hitter. Can you imagine how awesome that would be, especially after Walter's announcement? Here's a 0-1 pitch. There goes the no-hitter. Opposite field single for Kurtz. Kurtz has been really on a roll against the Astros in this series. Doesn't bode well for today in the next couple of games. But at least we had a no-hitter through 1 out. Through a third of it. So Gusto throws a 1/3 inning no-hitter. Who's up now? Oh, I need to adjust my layout on the screen. I think that's Brent Rooker. High and inside for ball 1. Why? My layout on the screen keeps messing up. Grounded to the third base side, just barely foul. Dubon grabbed it. He was going to try to make a throw, but the third base umpire said, nah, I think that is foul. Just like a duck. Show me some love on the live screen as quickly as you're able, but please do not pull a ligament and go on the injury list. Take your time and click it gently. No sudden movements. Stay off the IL. Yeah, Judy jinxed the no-hitter. Oh, man. One ball, one strike to Brent Rooker with 1 out. Runner on first. Here's the toss. Swing and a miss. 94 right in the zone. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Hey, Fox at bat. Good to see you back. Nice icon. I see you changed your avatar. Crispy, I saw your comment earlier, and I was going to make a little comment about that. You said, I hope the Astros meditated on their failures from yesterday. And what I was going to say is they probably medicated after their failures yesterday. It's a terrible joke, but, you know, because of the injury situation, you know, I couldn't help it. I couldn't help it. 2 balls and 2 strikes now. Here comes the pinch. No, Gusto goes over to first base, but Kurtz is back quickly. I don't think he's any threat to steal. That was kind of a give me a break. Give myself a break throw over to first. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch to Rooker. Swing and a miss. Another 96 up and in. Wow, somebody's happy. some lady close to the microphone, as soon as he got that strikeout, you could hear, "Woo!" Somebody's drinking early. Two outs, runner on first. Shea Langolier is at the plate. 95 above the zone for ball one. Texas Dave, hello to you. Crispy, hello to you. Chris, hello to you. DP, hello to you. Judy, of course, hello to you. Fox at Bat, Mark, Brendan. I appreciate you all being here. Next pitch, swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike to Langolier. Yeah, absolutely do hope that today's a good day, Fox at Bat. Here's the next pitch. Hit high in the air and foul. 1-2's the count. Is Gus still going to pick himself up another strikeout? He's got 2. Both of his outs so far this inning are Ks. Is he going to serve up another bowl of Special K? A voodoo doctor wouldn't be such a bad idea. You know, they're right next to Louisiana, really close to New Orleans. I think they could just drive over there and pick one up. This is hit hard to left field. That could be gone. Holy cow. That's barely foul. Woo! Towering shot down the left field line. They're still hanging around to make sure it's not a home run, but you can take a look here. Look at that. Wow. About 2 inches. 2 inches foul. 2 inches foul off the top of the wall in left field. Now, it was about 2 feet below the top of the wall, so it needed another 2 feet to get out, but it was 2 inches foul. So it would have been a really big double or a home run, depending on where it landed. But as it is now, it's another 1-2 count. Texas Dave, wouldn't it have to be 00? I mean, I might be wrong, but that's just first thing that pops to my mind. Here's a 1-2 pitch to Langoliers. Lone outside in the dirt. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Yeah, I'm hoping that we don't have any hangover. I think we shouldn't have a hangover today. Maybe that coming back home and getting settled in was a little rough for game 1, but it's all good now, I think. Here's the next pitch, the 2-2. Fouled off. Count stays even at 2. Mark, it's so funny that you're upset about that, but I'm happy about it. I'm glad that they got McMahon. I don't want that guy. At best, he's a mid player. When he's at his best, he's mid. And he's not even mid right now. He's batting like, what, 218? OPS only 700. Fouled off on the right side, way out into the crowd. Upper deck. Count remains 2-2. I was actually very happy when I heard that the Yankees got McMahon, because there was speculation that the Astros would go for him. I was like, man, that's the last thing we need is another mid guy. Here's the pitch. Hit hard to the left side. That's going to get through for a single. Kurtz goes to second base. Langoliers goes to first. At least it was kept inside the park. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with a single. That was a 92-mile-per-hour cutter right in the bottom of the zone. 2 hits now off of Gusto in the first inning. 2 singles and 2 strikeouts. Some mixed results there. Brendan says, here we go again. Yeah, baby. It's going to be interesting. Tyler Soderstrom is at the plate. The lefty. Here comes the pitch. Hits this Orlando left center field. That's going to get down. Chaz misplays it. It bounces off him, and it's going to go to the wall. It's going to score 2 runs, I think. Yep. Chaz tried to cut it off. It bounced up awkwardly. Gets by him. High and outside on the breaking ball, but it didn't break too much. You can see right here that Chaz misplayed it, and it bounced weird behind him. I don't know if it was because of the spin or because of the field, but when it came down, instead of bouncing in front of him where he could catch it, it bounced up behind him, and because of that, 2-run score. We have a runner on second with 2 outs. Jacob Wilson now at the plate for the A's. 3 hits and 2 runs. 16 straight games. 16th straight game the Astros have allowed their opponent to score first. 16 in a row. The Astros have started 16 games in a row being behind. 1 ball, 1 strike to Jacob Wilson. He was leading the AL in average. He slipped down to 4th. Here's the pitch. High and outside, ball 2, 2-1. Should have had Myers out there in center field. I mean, the ball did bounce up strange, but, you know. Fouled off. 2-2 is the count. Yeah, we do need Pena. We'll be getting him back soon enough. Don't worry about it. Low and outside, full count. Here comes the full count pitch to Wilson. He hits it right up the middle and right through Gusto's legs, and that's going to score Soderstrom. 3-0. Gusto gives up 4 hits and 3 runs in the first inning. That's sad considering he had the 2 strikeouts. Man, I don't want to see Josh Miller this early. Miller's already heading out to the mound to have a little chit-chat with him and Diaz. A little heart-to-heart there. That's such a funny comment when you think about it. We're facing a mid-pitcher today, so it's going to be tough. It makes our offense sound like such trash, right? You never know. Crispy, I think that it's a dice roll. It's like playing Dungeons and Dragons, you know. The Dungeon Master says if you roll a 50, a 51 or above, then you do it. But if you roll a 0 to 50, you fail. That's what it's kind of like for the Astros hitting, whether they're going to hit or not today. Gusto throws over to first base. Wilson is back. 4 hits, 3 runs in the first inning. 2 strikeouts. That's the silver lining. Here's the next pitch. Right in there, 81 miles an hour on the curveball. 1-1, or 0-1 rather. There's the pitch. Right in there, 96 in the bottom of the zone. Lawrence Butler at the plate with an 0-2 count. Butler actually batting 7th today. They've really moved him down, haven't they? Pretty crazy. I thought maybe he wasn't in the game, and then I realized he's batting 7th. Isn't he normally in the top 2? High and outside for ball 1, 1 and 2. Texas Dave, what's your favorite baseball movie? If you're talking to me, I would say probably Major League. Wow. Gusto thought that was strike 3. Just a little outside, 97 on the outside edge. He thought it was strike 3 and started walking towards the dugout. But it was clearly about an inch outside. So 2 and 2 is the count. He throws over to first. Wilson is back. I guess he needed to throw over to first to reset the pitch clock. He wasted time walking towards the dugout. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Butler with 2 outs, runner on first. This is the 30th pitch of the inning, low and outside. He's going to have a 31st with a full count. Starting to pitch like McCullers right now in the first inning. 30 pitches, giving up 3 runs. Shades of McCullers. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Finally picks up a 3rd strikeout. 3 strikeouts this inning, but 3 runs allowed. So Gusto getting just as many strikeouts as he's given up runs. Now, if this is all he gives up and he pitches, he buckles down and he somehow manages to get through 6, fine. But we're gonna see. We're gonna see. Bottom of the first coming up. Astros first opportunity to do something. Cam Smith due up, followed by Jose Altuve, and then Victor Caratini. But Texas Dave, I think probably it's an easy one for me to say Major League because it's hilarious. I just think movies like that, they just don't make movies like that so much anymore. I love movies like that. They're just ridiculous and funny. So, definitely my favorite baseball movie. There are some other movies, some movies that are serious, and of course a lot of people like Field of Dreams, but I don't like Field of Dreams as much as most people do. I think it's just an okay movie. Moneyball was an interesting film. I would have enjoyed Moneyball a lot more, I think, if it had been a little more serious. But it was also a good movie. Brendan says, since when do our pitchers pitch so awesomely? Jordan says, Gusto could settle down, but the A's think they're in the playoffs anytime they're playing us. That's right, that's right. They win a game, they freak out, and they celebrate, and they dump the ice bucket on everybody, right? It's a World Series victory. It's a come-from-behind World Series victory, always, every game. Cam Smith at the plate. First pitch from Jeffrey Springs. I keep wanting to say Jeffrey Springer. It's just a tad outside for ball 1. Here's the next pitch. In the bottom of the zone, strike 1, 1-1. The information on the screen has not yet been updated by the API, so I do apologize for that. Here comes the next pitch. A little inside, good take. Umpire's kind of calling it pretty tight right now. He's got a nice tight strike zone so far. He's calling it both ways from what I can tell, but it's early. It's early. We'll see. Here's the next pitch. Low and outside, swing and a miss on the changeup. 1 ball, 2 strikes to crank it up, Cam. Look how different he looks when he chops his hair off. Does he got some hiding under there or something? Maybe if he runs really fast, He hits the ball, runs really fast to second base. He'll lose his helmet, and we will see what his hairdo looks like. Come on. Here's the 2-2 pitch. In the dirt, outside, full count. $50 following along and 24 likes. I appreciate that, but we can do better, right? Thank you for liking the live stream. Here comes the full count toss. This is hit to right center, and it's going to get down. How about that? We do have a leadoff hit. It's not a double. But Cam Smith is on first base. Nice to see him hitting the ball again. He did have a hit late yesterday. Low and inside right there. Came across right by his thighs. Perfectly located to be smacking. And that's exactly what he did. When it's between the knees and the waist, got to be swinging at that, boys. Run on first. They lob the ball over to first base, and Smith easily gets back. Springs just kind of casually lobbed it over there. My all-time hero, Jose Altuve's at the plate. Here's the pitch. 85 in the bottom of the zone. He fouls it off. Strike one. 85-mile-per-hour slider. He's batting .281 right now through 99 games. He's got 252 career hits versus the homeless Athletics. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. He shows bunt. He tried to go after it and do a running bunt, but he missed it. Strike two. Good thought. Just a terrible pitch. Spring just happened to pick the right pitch. Too difficult to bunt. Curveball almost in the dirt. 0-2 is the count. Here comes the pitch to Tuve. He bounces this one down the left side, but foul. Man, that was almost bunt style, that hit. That would have worked if it had stayed fair. Come on, Tuve. Victor Caratini is on deck. Cam Smith on first base with no outs. Altuve about to move him around. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. He fouls it off into the crowd. Way off into the right side. That would have been great if he had straightened it out. Into that right field porch. Right over that fence. Yeah, it doesn't take too much, right, Brendan? No reason to work too hard. Just knock it over the fence, right? Here comes the 0-2 pitch. High and outside. Good take. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Altuve. Something happened to me this morning I got to tell you guys about. It's very interesting and related to what we're doing here right now. It's not about a spider, trust me. It's about a different insect. Here's the pitch. Ground to third base. It looks like it might be a double play, and it is. Cam is eliminated from the base pads on the grounder to third base by Altuve. 2 down. Springs, at just 9 or 10 pitches, is now facing Victor Caratini. I have an outdoor shower here. It has a bamboo curtain around it. Here's a pitch to Caratini in the dirt. Check swing. They say he did not go around. Ball 1. 2 outs, nobody on for the Batman. But I noticed on the top of my bamboo curtain I have a solar light up there. There was a big green insect up there, and at first I thought it was a praying mantis, but it turned out to be a big grasshopper. Hit to center field. Is it going to drop? No. Butler's able to make the play on the run, so Caratini lines out, and that's going to be it for the Astros. 1 hit, no runs. Springs get gets through the inning in about a dozen pitches, he basically has about 1/3 the amount of pitches that Gusto had. Gusto's going to have to come right back out after a short break. 3-0. The A's just continuing to own the Astros so far. If we don't have our pitching, we're going to continue to suffer until the right guys get on the mound and we get some of our hitting back. But it's just something we're going to have to deal with for now, guys. Just bear it. Remember that Mauricio Dubon said something recently that's true. You know, these are the cards that we've been dealt right now, so we just have to play what we have. I agree. But what I was going to tell you is that big grasshopper that was sitting up on that solar light was just sitting there looking down at me, just watching me. And I have so many praying mantises around here that I'm used to seeing them standing around and looking at me, and sometimes when I sit down they actually come up to me and crawl on me. They know me really well. But the grasshopper, first time I've seen a big grasshopper like that just perched way up there. And it reminded me of something because that was not long before I started my live stream. And I remembered the very first baseball team that I ever played on. Do you guys remember? You guys and gals remember the first baseball or the first softball team that you ever played on when you were a kid? I practiced off the pitching, the tee, whenever I was a kid, when I was little. But my first team, we had a pitching machine that we hit off of. My team name was the Grasshoppers. Here's the pitch from Gusto, 82 just above the zone. He is facing Geaux Urshela. Geaux? No, it's got to be Geaux, right? Geaux Urshela. Here's the next pitch. Another one just a little high, curveball. 2 balls and no strikes. But when I was a kid in Houston, all of the teams in my league were named after insects, and we were the Grasshoppers. 93 right in the zone, swinging a foul tip miss on the fastball. 2-1 is the count. Just, it got me to thinking. Seeing that grasshopper up there brought back those memories, and I thought that was interesting because that was my first team in Houston. This is hit high in the air to the right side. Walker's underneath it, just across the foul line, and he picks it up, grabs it, rather, for out number 1. Urshela goes down on the fly out. Max Schumann comes to the plate. 1 away, nobody on. Yeah, you're right, Crispy. It would be nice to steal, especially with Cam Smith on. He could have tried. We've got nothing to lose right now. Might as well try. Here comes the first pitch to Schumann. Swing and a miss on the inside, 94 miles an hour. 0-1. Yeah. The D-backs and the Orioles and the Dodgers have 14 guys on the IL. They're number 2. Astros are number 1 with 18. We're 4 ahead of them. In the dirt, 1 ball and 1 strike. Here comes a 1-1 pitch. Schumann swings at the high fastball. There's that girl in the background again. Woo! 1 ball, 2 strikes. Jordan says, some of my best showers were where I heated some propane water and mixed it 5 gallons of rainwater. Low and outside. He doesn't swing on the check. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Schumann. I guess you mean water heated with propane. Propane water sounds funny. It's like, what is propane water? How can you mix gas and water? But I think I know what you're talking about. Oh yeah. If you get wet and then you step out in the cold air, oh man, that's not good. But what's even worse is if you have wet clothes. That's why if you guys and gals don't know this, if you're in a place where it's frozen, even if you're in the wilderness, if you fall in a river or in the water, you got to take your clothes off. If you don't, you'll freeze to death. I'm not saying that being naked is good, but having wet clothes on is even worse. That ball is fouled off. The count remains 2-2. As we're having a very interesting conversation right now while the Astros are playing the A's. 4 hits for the A's, 1 for the Stros, 3-0 here in the top of the second with 1 out. Here's the 2-2. Way high. Another full count for Gusto. A small challenge from Max Schumann. Here's the pitch. Oh, he gets nailed by Gusto. Well, that's one way to give up the walk on a full count. Why bother? Gusto's like, hey, listen. You know, right in the S of Schumann on the back of his jersey there. So Gusto's like, listen, I don't want you fouling off a bunch of pitches and driving up my pitch count. And I don't want to walk you with a bad pitch and look bad, so I'd rather just nail you. Boom. Runner on first, hit by pitch. Back to the top of the batting order with Carlos Cortez with 1 out. Here comes the first pitch. Way high, ball 1. Yeah, Chris, I don't want us to be winning the injury race either. The race to the top is a race to the bottom. Here's a pitch. Right in there, 94 miles an hour, foul tip on a half swing. 1 ball, 1 strike. But you know what, Crispy, they're so cocky and they try so hard, and the Astros just aren't prepared for it. It's like they don't think about it. I don't think that the Astros look at the A's as like, oh, this is an easy team, we don't have to try too hard. I just think that they don't really consider just how hard the A's are trying to win. I think that's the problem. Because some teams, they're just arrogant, like the Dodgers, the Yankees. Oh, this team is beneath us, They look down, and then whenever they lose, they actually say some very rude things. Fouled off. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Cortez. If the Astros lose to the A's, they're very humiliated by it, but not in a way that's like looking down the nose. It's like, they just hit really well, and we weren't hitting, and we weren't pitching well. We have to do better than that. Typically, the Yankees and the Dodgers don't have such an attitude. It's like, well, we're a better team than this. An indirect way of saying that team sucks and they're beneath us, but we beat ourselves. We allowed them to win, Here's the 2-2 pitch. Strike 3, another swing and a miss. Second strikeout for Cortez, and the 4th strikeout for Gusto. Nice curveball. Runner still on first with 2 outs. Nick Kurtz at the plate. Fouls this one off. 95 on the outside edge. Strike 1. Oh my gosh, Fox, I read what you wrote. Little League, that's got to suck. They start to run up the score and they stop the game. That's got to be embarrassing. This is hit hard to left field, and it's gone just like that. Nick Kurtz. Opposite field, line drive, home run right into the Crawford boxes. Tacks on 2 more runs for the A's. It's 5-0. All right, guys, that's the kind of game it's going to be today. The crowd is completely dead in Daikin Park. Breaking ball, 82-mile-per-hour curve in the bottom of the zone. Line drive, and it was out in just a couple of seconds. I think Kurtz is just a guy they should not pitch to. He's 2 for 2 today. He had a good day yesterday. They just can't pitch to him. 51 pitches now for Gusto. The first one to the next batter, Brent Rooker, is in there for strike one. Yeah, Tim, I can't blame you. I can't blame you. Here's the next pitch. 95 in the top outer portion is what I was trying to say. Part and portion at the same time. But called a ball, 1-1. I agree, Crispy. I would have walked him. Just walk him. Put him on. 82 below the zone, but a little bit of a swing there by Rooker. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 2 outs, nobody on. The downside, 2-run homer. The upside, nobody on base. Here's the pitch. Low and outside. The count is even, 2-2. Fox at bat, I remember my team, that the Grasshoppers, we were so good we went undefeated, and we caused many a game to be canceled or ended early because we were running up the score. We would run up the score on everybody. So I didn't experience that when I was in Little League on the receiving end, but I experienced it on the giving end. And of course, you're happy when you're doing that. You're just constantly scoring runs. But when the other team doesn't even have a chance to really do anything, or they can't do anything, I can't imagine how that feels. It must be terrible. Unless they're just out there having fun, who knows. Here's the 2-2 pitch. A little high, another full count. Jordan, what you're calling a ship shower in Japan would just be called standard Japanese bath, standard Japanese shower. This is grounded to short, and Short grabs it and fires it over to first for out number 3. 5 hits and 5 runs given up by Gusto. The A's leading after just 2 innings, 5-0. Let me tell you what I would do right now if I were the coach, if I were Espada. I would have a reliever warming up right now. I'd have him start warming up right now while the Astros are batting. And when Gusto came out, I would make his leash so short. A walk or a hit of any kind, a hit by pitch, he's immediately pulled. That's what I would do. Because you think about it, in just 2 innings, he's hit a guy. He's had several full counts. He's given up a home run. He's given up multiple singles. 5 hits and 5 runs. Pitch total by Gusto is 57 in 2 innings. He's pitched almost 60 pitches in 2 innings. This is McCullers level performance right now. The only thing that he hasn't done is walk batters. That's the only bad thing that he hasn't done, really. He hasn't walked batters, but he's hit them. They've hit him. And he's thrown a ton of pitches. So, in my opinion, you let him come out in the 3rd. If he walks somebody or gives up a hit or hits somebody, you immediately just pull him out. That's what I would do. Because we're already down 5-0. In order to come back, and I think we can against this team, but in order to come back, you have to stop the runs. I mean, come on. Take some medicine and stop the runs. You know what I'm saying? Walker at the plate. 83 in the bottom of the zone, strike 1. Yeah, Jordan, you're absolutely right. That's one of the reasons why I like to be in Japan is to go to the onsen. High and outside, ball one, the count's even. If you go to the public bath here or the onsen, the first thing you do is you sit down, you have like a little stool, you sit down and you wet yourself, you soak yourself down, then you pull out the soap and you scrub yourself, lather yourself up. Low and outside, ball two, 2-1. You give yourself a nice scrubbing head to foot. Then you rinse everything off. And then after that, that's when you go get in the bath. Because the bath is not for washing. The bath is for relaxing and enjoying. Spring having a little meeting on the mound right now. After a 2-1 count to Walker. For some reason, Spring and Langoliers needed to discuss something. Maybe they're discussing how to let the Astros back into the game so they can feel like they have a chance. Yeah, you're right. Shoot, he's really hurting himself right now. Here's the 2-1 pitch. In the dirt, swing and a miss on the changeup. 2-2 is the count against Walker. Walker calls timeout to adjust his gloves because that will help him not strike out, actually. Come on, Walker. Starts with you right here. Here's the pitch, the 2-2. Swing and a miss. Strike three. Why did I give you a vote of confidence when all you do is bite my hand? Christian Biter. I wonder if he has taken first place yet on the Astros team in strikeout percentage. He was second place. I wonder if he's now first place. Yainer Diaz comes to the plate. His first appearance today. 76 mile per hour Swiffer on the outside edge. Strike one. Well, the series isn't gone yet. It's a 4-game series. Did you think it was a 3-game series? That one's too far inside. Ball one. 1-1 to Diaz. This is a 4-game series, guys, not a best of 3. Here's a pitch. High, ball 2, 2-1. Jordan, you're hilarious. I gotta read that because that's funny. Here's the next pitch from Spring. Yainer hits it sharply to the shortstop, who fires over to first. Barely gets him. Yainer hustled down the line, but they're able to get him just barely. Out number 2. That brings up the ever dangerous Cooper Pummel to the plate. Jordan says he gives the A's credit because they're high-fiving each other like they're only a few games out of first place. Here's a pitch. High, ball 1 to Pummel. Jordan, why did they change the name? I think that's an easy question to answer. Here's a pitch. Fouled off on the right side, and that evens the count 1-1. It's all about branding deals and money. And Daikin, because of their increased presence in the Houston area and their significance to the community. That's why they wanted the sponsorship there. 92 above the zone. 2 balls and 1 strike to Cooper. Koopa. It makes sense for Daikin to do that, to try to better associate themselves and get community the positive perception from the community. 3 balls and 1 strike. Decent at bat so far. Hummel swinging only at 1 pitch that was in the zone and fouling it off. Here's a 3-1 from Spring. right in the bottom of the zone for strike 2. That was a nice pitch to be swinging at right there. 92 miles an hour. The count is full. I don't think we well, even if we have 16 pitchers available, they're not at the game. I don't think we got 16 pitchers at the field right now. That's fouled off. The count remains 3-2. Walker makes striking out look so easy. he actually makes striking out look easier than what it really is. That's pretty sad. Here comes a 3-2 pitch. Hummel hits this one hard to center field, and it's going to be playable by Butler. On the run again. 5-0 Stros with just one hit on the board. 5-0 A's rather over the Stros. Astros just have one hit. A's have just as many runs as they do hits. No errors yet in this game. Happy Friday, I guess you could say even happy Saturday from Japan, Daryl. And the A's do think they're special, no matter what. No matter what their record is, no matter where they are when they play the Astros, they really do think they're special. But you know what? They're playing like they're special. You got to give them credit. And I know that the Astros are a patchwork team right now, so there's that. One, that's a simplified way of looking at it. The stadium name goes to whomever pays the most money. But it's not just about that. Because actually, Coca-Cola, owns Minute Maid, right? Minute Maid had the local branding deal. That's why it was Minute Maid Park for a while. But their contract did not run out. So it wasn't an issue of Daikin Park or Daikin Company outbidding Minute Maid or some kind of bidding war or something. Actually, Minute Maid still has an agreement with the Houston Astros. I did some research on this because I wanted to understand why they changed the name, and it made some sense. There's still branding and product sponsorship and advertisements and presence in and around the park for Minute Maid products. They still have an agreement for a while longer, so that continues. Langoliers is at the plate, swing and a miss, 82 in the top of the zone. 0-1 is the count. Daikin paid, obviously, for the naming rights over the next however many years. Here's the next pitch. 93 in the top of the zone, fouled off. 0-2. But amazingly enough, they did not have to buy out the remaining contract of Minute Maid. However, the Astros worked out some kind of agreement to continue doing promotions and advertisements, etc., with Minute Maid in and around the park and in Houston. I don't know the details of that. I couldn't find those, but that's all I know. Strike 3 on the outside edge. How about that? 3-pitch strikeout against Langoliers by Gusto. All right. He's not going on the leash yet. Here comes the next pitch to Tyler Soderstrom, outside and low, ball 1. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Wow, that's crushed to right field. I think that's gone. Yep. 6-0. That was crushed. I knew it right off the bat. Right in the middle of the plate. Please pull Gusto out now. Nobody was warming up in the Astros bullpen from what I can tell. Tyler Soderstrom hits a home run. Soderstrom. "86-mile-per-hour changeup right in the middle of the zone. 6-0. Low and outside is the first pitch to Jacob Wilson. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Wilson takes that one outside for ball 2, 2-0. Yeah, John, it's real. It's real, but I promise that I will not play I Got You, Babe. I won't do it. Here's the pitch. Just a tad outside. It looks like Gusto is now scared to throw in the zone. 3 straight balls after that home run to Jacob Wilson. You gotta have somebody going in the pen right now. What is Espada doing? I guess maybe this is a throwaway game, guys. Now, that's the only way I can describe it. Espada is going to focus on offense and let Gusto go as long as he can. He's just standing over there like hanging out. Four-pitch walk to Jacob Wilson. Josh Miller's going to wander out to the mound, nice and slow-like. Have a little chit-chat. Why'd you give up so many runs? I just felt like it today, Coach. Well, that's not a bad idea. It's not a bad reason. I can respect that. I can respect a man who's honest. What a game to be calling today. I knew that hoping for a sweep was a little much to ask for with a 4-game series. But I would not have guessed that the Astros would not only split the series, but split it so poorly. And that's assuming they can win Game 3 and Game 4. Lawrence Butler is at the plate with a runner on first and 1 out. Here's the pitch from Gusto. Below the zone. That's another ball. That's 5 straight balls thrown since the home run. 6 hits and 6 runs. The A's have a formula going. Get a hit, get a run. 67 pitches now for Gusto. Bunt towards third base. Devon plays it at first, and he gets the out. That's out number 2. Wilson goes to second base. Gio Urshela comes to the plate in just a moment. Yep, you're right, Daryl. When it rains, it pours. And I know that poor Texas has been getting way too much rain. It's unfortunate and sad. I know that a lot of people there have been through a lot. Being here in Japan, I've been able to experience, not personally myself, but I see all around the country here the kind of natural disaster crap that they have to deal with. It's not fun. Foul ball to the right side. Walker's underneath it, puts it away for out number 3. Urshela goes down with the foul out. Gusto's getting better. First inning gave up 3. Second inning gave up 2. Third inning gave up 1. Does that mean that in the fourth it's 0? He's going to have his first 0 inning? He's up to 68 or 69 pitches in 3 innings. We'll see. We'll see. Mauricio Dubon will be up to bat in just a moment, followed by the Chasmabian Devil and Zach Martin Short. Bottom of the lineup, 7, 8, 9. Woo. Maybe I put too much water there. Is it going to be okay? I think it's going to be okay. I've got a second cup of coffee on recycling my coffee grounds. Games like today don't help my channel, that's for sure. This community is suffering. The entire Astros community is suffering, including this channel. Braden says, this is crazy. We shouldn't be losing to the A's. What are we doing? Taking the day off, bro. This has become a throwaway game. Seems they're more interested in advertising the Harry Potter night than they are winning ball games. Thunderstorms in Texas. And all the way from the A's. Doobie get hit right there? Yep. Very first pitch, Dubon gets hit. I guess Springs wanted some revenge. Right off the knee. Dubon to the IL very soon, maybe? He's on first base right now, or he's headed to first base. He was chatting with the umpire. He says he's okay. If Dubon is not in the game tomorrow, or if they mention that he's going to take a day off because he's sore, I'm gonna try to sell off some stuff so I can buy a ticket and fly over there and start cracking some skulls. Dubon goes to first base. We've got ourselves a leadoff base runner with Chas McCormick, the Chasmabian Devil. There's the first pitch from Springs. Check swing low. He does not go. Ball one. Hey, Crispy, I'm trying my best to make it interesting. You know, it's difficult. I appreciate your kind words. It's difficult, even for me, to watch these games. Fouled off at the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike to Chas. You know, the difference between being a casual fan and being a live streamer for the play-by-play is that if you're truly committed to doing the live play-by-play, then you've got to do it. You know, even if the Astros are getting whipped by the A's 15-0, I've got to go to the 9th inning, you know. I've seen some streamers give up on the game early and just quit. I don't understand that. 80 miles an hour below the zone. 2 balls and 1 strike to Chas. It would be different if I were just doing a kind of a casual reaction video. Hey guys, let's watch the Astros and chat about it. If I were really upset right now, I can't believe that they're down 6-0 to the A's in 3rd inning. I can't watch this, guys. I'm going to go do something else. Have a good one, man. I'll see you tomorrow, and then just log off. 93 right in there. Swing and a miss. 2 balls and 2 strikes. But if I walk away from this game, then I don't deserve to have a live play-by-play channel. That's my opinion. Wow. Chas McCormick rips this one off the pitcher, and it rolls foul, but that's going to be a hit. Doobie goes to second base easily. Line drive off of the pitcher's butt, looks like. Umpire's out to check on him. Let's take a look at it. Look at the replay here. Yeah, right. That was funny. Look at him. It looked like a child getting whipped by his parents or something. Dad whips him with the belt. and he grabs at his butt. That was funny. All right, you were spanked by the Chasmabian Devil. 2 runners on. Zach Short at the plate, our number 9 batter. Is this the hero? High, 92 miles an hour, ball 1. Is this the beginning of the comeback with the bottom of the order? Are you kidding me? 7 and 8. That's funny. Dubon gets hit. McCormick hits the pitcher. And now Short is at the plate with no outs. 2 runners on. Outside, 2 balls and no strikes. Are we going to load the bases up for Cam Smith? Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen, but whatever it is, it's been funny so far. Thank you for providing some comic relief there, Chaz. I love you for that. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. Short takes it outside, 3-0. Me likey. Me likey. Here's the 3-0 pitch outside. He calls it a strike. That could have been ball 4. That was an inch off the plate. Inch out of the zone, baby. Oh, man. What are you doing, ump? 3-1 is the count. 40 pitches now for Springs. Here comes the 3-1 toss. Bottom of the zone, strike 2. Short really trying to get that walk. Oh, man. Well, Fox at bat, I kind of agree with you. I feel like he's just trying to save the bullpen right now and let the Astros bats work it out. 91 miles an hour, swing and miss right in the zone. Man, Short, what are you doing there, man? Now, the umpire did let you down on that ball 4 pitch. That was a ball 4 pitch, but the next 2 are right in the zone. You took a strike. You took a strike 2. And then you completely missed one right in the zone for strike 3. What are you doing? Cam Smith comes to the plate with runners on first and second and 1 out. Here comes the first toss from Springs. It's tapped to the mound. It's probably going to be a double play, and it is. Goodness gracious. The Astros do what they're really good at this year. Even better at last year, but they're just trying to continue a little bit of that tradition of stranding runners on base. 2 hits for the Stros. No, I'm sorry. One hit by pitch and 1 hit to the pitcher. But no runs. 6-0. That's A's over Astros. Currently, our team playing like Astros. Good grief. Good grief. And just like the runs scored by the A's, my cup is running over. Too much coffee in this cup. Oh, man. Goodness gracious. Goodness gracious. What to do? What to do? Natto Kines. Yeah, I know. I've heard lots of good stuff about natto. It's easy to get around here. I can even get it at the convenience store, actually. I've been switching myself to a not just keto, but a high quality fat keto diet to help eliminate visceral fat. Happy Gilmore, where did that come from? Oh, okay. Happy Gilmore 2. They have another one out. Ryan Gusto back up on the mound facing Max Schumann. He fouls off the first pitch for strike one. He got hit by a pitch and scored a run his last at bat. Here's the pitch. High. Now remember, Gusto gave up 3 runs, 2 runs, and then 1 run. Nick Hernandez, who was called up by the Astros, he's warming up in the bullpen. This should be Gusto's inning to give up 0, right? 80 on the inside. 2 balls and 1 strike. It would be nice to stop hitting in double plays and actually score our runners on base or in scoring position. That's hit to Altuve, who fires over to first for out number 1. Well, at least somebody's doing the job. A couple of grand slams and we're winning by a whopping 2 points. Isn't that crazy? If we have 2 grand slams, we'd still only be winning by 2 points. Javier Arrighetti, Garcia, lots of these guys pitching. Up and inside, swing and a miss for strike 1 to Carlos Cortez. He's 0 for 2 today with 2 strikeouts. Looks like he's trying to get his 3rd strikeout right here. Here comes the pitch. Right in the zone, fouled off. Strike 2. Yeah, even the Astros commentators are talking about the amount of lightning outside. Not a good time to be leaving the game early, I guess. Here's the pitch. That's hit up the middle. Cortez gets himself a hit instead of a strikeout on an 0-2 pitch. On an 0-2 pitch to a guy who's new. You struck him out twice, and you put a pitch right down the middle, and he hits it right up the middle. How can you do that? If that had been a better hitter, that pitch would have been gone. Speaking of gone, Nick Kurtz is at the plate. He has a 2-run homer today. 1 out, runner on first. Here's the first pitch. 93 on the outside edge, strike 1. Jordan, if you want to look it up, there's a girl or a lady on YouTube called the Steak and Butter Gal. She's pretty interesting. 89 up and out, 1 ball, 1 strike. But she has a lot of videos, and she refers to a lot of different people that she trusts that talk about the keto and high-fat diet, carnivore diet, and all that kind of stuff. 89 right in the top of the zone, swing and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Kurtz. Yeah, Crispy, it's an anomaly. We get 18 against the Dodgers. Can't manage to get even 1 against the A's. It's crazy. This is hit high into left field. It's going to float all the way out to the wall, and it's off the top of the wall. It'll score another run. Cortez comes in easily. 7-0. Kurtz has a double. He's got a home run and a double this game. 7 runs, 8 hits. Cutter on the outside. Seven to nothing, guys. Maybe the A's will beat us 18-1. Gusto does not get through the inning. They pull him out with 81 pitches. Nick Hernandez is coming in the game. Eight hits and 7 runs given up by Gusto. I couldn't be more surprised and disappointed. You know, there was a time where I thought that Gusto was going to be a more dependable innings eater than Walter. But Walter, and even Gordon, but Walter and Gordon have proven themselves to be more consistent and dependable. And then, of course, Walter is the one with elbow discomfort. It goes on the IL. It's a difficult year to be an Astros fan, but then again, there have been many of those, right? For those of us who have been Astros fans for several decades, we know how it feels. From the time I was a kid until now, it's been nearly 5 decades. And during that whole time, it has been a lot more disappointment than joy, that's for sure. Hey Mel, good to see you here. You listen to the Steak and Butter Gal too? I just really started listening to her recently. I've seen her stuff before, but I didn't pay too much attention to it. The reason that I turned on to her recently is because my main issue right now is, I mean, obviously my main issue is a cancer tumor on my kidney. That's the main issue. But there's a lot of visceral fat, and it's making it difficult for my blood flow. So I really need to get that under control. And that led me to her videos. Nick Hernandez is now on the mound. The first pitch is fouled off by Brent Rooker. 0-1 is the count. Here comes the next pitch. Swing and a miss on the outside. Strike 2. Kurtz on second base with 1 out. 1 inherited runner from Gusto. 0-2 is the count. Here comes the pitch from Hernandez. Swing and a miss. Nice. He comes in the game and gets a 3-pitch strikeout. That's nice. 2 away. 93 miles an hour on the outside edge. Just well placed. And yes, she is easy on the eyes, Mel. I agree. She looks wonderful. Must be the steak and butter. Here's the pitch. Another strike. 93. Just above the zone. Shea Langoliers foul tips it into the glove of Diaz for strike 1. Here comes the pitch. Outside. 1-1. Yeah, Crispy, unless they have somebody on the mound who's an ace, might as well just not pitch to Kurtz. I agree with you. Here's the 1-1 toss. Low and outside for ball 2. 2-1. Have the hens come back to roost? What does that even mean? This is hit hard out to left field all the way. It's gone. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, guys? I'm not joking. A 2-run homer by Langoliers off of Nick Hernandez. It's 9-0. Kurtz comes home. Langoliers rounds the bases. This game is toast, right? The Astros are toast. You know, just a couple of days ago, we had first place in the AL just for a moment. And in all of the American League, guys, first place. And we're now getting beat by the A's 9-0 in the 4th inning. And it's not even over yet. Check swing there is ball 1. Tyler Soderstrom, he has a double, a home run, 3 RBIs, and 2 runs scored today. It seems like everybody in the A's lineup has a hit practically. Rooker, Wilson, Butler, Urshela, the only ones that don't have a hit. 5 guys have hits, but they have big hits, and some of them have multiple. Kurtz has 3. Cortez has 1. Langlier's 2, Soderstrom 2, Wilson 1. 9 hits in total. Here's the 2-0 pitch right in there, fouled off at the plate for strike 1. 2 balls and 1 strike with 2 outs. You're right, Crispy. Top of the 4th. The Astros have given up runs in every single inning. 3 runs, 2 runs, 1 run. 3 runs. I guess next inning is going to be 2 and then 1 again. Here's the pitch. That's crushed to right field. That's another home run distance into the upper deck, but foul. Holy cow. Soderstrom almost with another homer. That was clearly a crushed ball into the upper deck and about maybe 20 feet foul. He got around on it way too early. Here comes the 2-2 pitch from Hernandez in the dirt. He's a little scared to throw it in the zone now, and that's a full count. Here comes the 3-2. Right in the bottom of the zone. He check swings, but it's in there. Strike 3, so Hernandez gets out of it. But not before giving up 2 more runs. Holy cow. 9-0. The Astros are losing going into the bottom of the 4th. We haven't even had a chance to bat in the 4th inning, and we're down 9-0 to the homeless Athletics. Can we come back? Yes, we can. Will we come back? 'Tis a good question. 'Tis a good question. I'm not really sure, Jordan, about the cheese fermenting. The main thing that I know about cheese is that it's similar to butter. You just want to get the least processed cheese that you can. And the grass-fed butter is by far superior. High quality grass-fed butter. It offers other benefits that the other types do not. But the cheese has a tendency, most of the cheese in the store tend to have fillers, additives, and things in there that can actually take away from the effects that you're going for. The healing effects, the keto effect, etc. This day 3 years ago, not 3 years ago, longer than that, which they just flashed on the screen on this day in history. Altuve had his first 3-hit game, I guess it was. Speaking of Altuve, first pitch is a ball. Second pitch should have been a ball. It was above the zone, but it looked like they might have called it a strike. Most 3-hit games by player in the MLB by active players, Altuve is in the lead by more than 25. Ball 2 to Altuve. Altuve grounded into a double play his last at bat. Here comes a 2-1 pitch. Low and outside, ball 3. Chris talking about her daughter's softball team rules. Altuve walks, ball 4. That's nice. If a team is up by 10 runs, the game is declared over. At least it could put us out of our misery. I understand what you're saying. I remember those days. Victor Caratini, the Batman, is at the plate. 82 miles an hour. 0-1. Right in the middle of the plate. Spring's about to deliver his 50th pitch of the game. Altuve at first base with no outs. Here's the pitch. Man, another one in there. Another 80-mile-per-hour changeup right in the dead center of the plate. What are you doing, Caratini? He calls timeout. You better call timeout. Yeah, it's true. We could go to New York and sweep them right after this. It's nuts. I still think that the AL is stronger. We beat each other up. That's what I think. I think the AL beats each other up. And so they look worse. But I think they're stronger than the NL. That's what I think. 'Tis my opinion. The All-Star game doesn't really represent that. That's a popularity contest, not a talent contest. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Caratini. Here comes the pitch. High, ball 2. It's even. Yeah, you're right, Jordan. The way the animals are raised and fed, and then the way it's processed, these two things are very important. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Caratini. Swing and a foul tip miss on the outside. Could have been ball 3. Strikeouts. 1 away. Christian Walker, speaking of strikeout, comes to the plate. John says, I always said it's spring training till the trade deadline. I ain't worried. Yeah, we're still in first place, so there's that, you know. Here comes the pitch to Walker. Outside. Ball 1. But you know, actually, I looked at some figures and some statistics. Even if the Astros just played .500 for the rest of the year, the chances of them getting caught are almost 0. Very, very difficult for even the Mariners to catch them because they would have to play at a much higher level, win a much higher percentage of games to overtake them. So it'd have to be a complete breakdown while the Mariners are playing good in order for them to swap places by the end of the season. Here's the pitch by Walker, or to Walker rather. High and outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. What? Oh, check swing. They said he went around. There's no way that he went around on that. He's very upset about that. I'm in agreement with you, sir. It didn't look like a full swing or even a partial swing to me, but what do I know? 1 ball, 2 strikes to Walker. Here's the toss in the dirt. 2-2. When you say farmer grass-fed beef, are you talking about a brand or are you just talking about in general? Because in general, yes, I can definitely get that. There's a lot of options here in Japan, but it's all about affordability. That last pitch was a changeup outside. Walker complains about it. He's shaking his head, and he says no. He says, no. Here's the pitch. 80 miles an hour changeup just below the zone. It might have gotten 1 centimeter of the bottom of the zone, called strike 3, and that's 2 outs and another strikeout for Walker. Yainer Diaz comes to the plate. Don't chase the Swiffer, please. This is grounded to the shortstop, who tosses it to second. 1 pitch for the 3rd out. Yainer goes down. The Astros have hit the ball twice this whole game in 4 innings. 2 hits, no runs. But they've gifted the A's 9 hits and 9 runs. So the Astros currently are the nicest team in the MLB. They're like, listen, we're going to give you 9 runs. We're going to give you 9 hits. And we're not really going to ask for anything in return. Just a couple of hits. Just a couple. We don't even need any runs. Just take what you like. If Hernandez is on the mound again, he'll be facing Jacob Wilson. So, assuming that these two things are true, then the Astros will continue to give up more runs. Maybe if I were in the shoes of Joe Espada, I would go ahead and forfeit the game. I would just forfeit the game and say, listen, our guys right now, they're really down. We're really down with the injuries, and everybody's too upset right now to be playing ball. We just want to go home, get some sleep, come back tomorrow. So we forfeit. We throw in the towel. Well, Jordan, everybody knows Kobe beef because it's famous internationally, but here in Japan, Kobe beef is just one of many places. Hokkaido, way up in the north, it's more famous for farms and a variety of dairy foods and meats and things like that. It's a much larger countryside area, and it has a lot more to offer than Kobe could ever offer. Kobe is a small place compared to Hokkaido. You can go look on the map and you'll see that a whole north area is Hokkaido. Kobe is just one small area of Japan, but Hokkaido is the biggest area of Japan. Jacob Wilson is at the plate. 1-for-1 today. First pitch is outside for a ball. Here's the next pitch from Hernandez. A little inside. Ball 2. But all of the butter and the cheese and milk, all of those dairy products that people really, really love, Hokkaido is number 1. Next pitch, swing and a miss by Jacob Wilson. 2 balls and 1 strike is the count. And, of course, a variety of meats. High-quality, grass-fed stuff, all the good stuff, organics, and all of that comes from Hokkaido. This is hit hard to left field all the way down the line, but foul into the net. That had double written all over it, but it was foul. 2 balls and 2 strikes. I don't know about fishing. Fishing would just aggravate me, especially in this weather. Why would you go fishing in this weather? There's no way I'd do that. Here's the pitch. Stay inside. Fouled off. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The count remains. If I were in Houston right now, I'm not a fisherman anyway. It's so far down the list of things that I enjoy doing. But in this weather, absolutely no way. Swing and a miss. How about that? Nick Hernandez gets a strikeout. Pitch on the outside. Wilson goes after it and misses it. 1 away. Nobody on. 1 out. Lawrence Butler comes to the plate. Here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss. Low and inside with that splitter. Strike 1. Here, Jordan, right down the road, you can buy, there's a milk farm, and you can buy not only a variety of dairy stuff, but they also sell deer meat, various types of deer meat, and wild boar meat, because those are problems in this area. We have too many deer and too many boar. They mess up the crops and the gardens and stuff. In the evenings, late in the evenings and at night when I'm driving down the road, 100% of the time I can see deer. At least a couple, sometimes as many as 15. It's crazy. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here comes a pitch, swing and a miss. All right, Nick Hernandez with a pair of strikeouts. A 4-pitch strikeout there on Lawrence Butler, who's 0 for 3 today. Gio Urshela comes to the plate. Here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss on the outside. Another strike on the 4-seam fastball. Oh man, Mark, I'd love to be able to go to DQ, get the old country basket, or the dude. Lone outside in the dirt. They say he did not go. That's ball 1. The count's even. Get a blizzard and some sweet tea. Yeah, I think that makes my kidney hurt just thinking about it. Here comes a 1-1 pitch. Low and outside, ball 2. 2-1. Oh, Jordan, you can get plenty of seafood here in Japan. It's everywhere. It's easy to get seafood. Here's a pitch. Fouled off. Now, if you go to the milk farm, Tom Milk Farm is the name of the place. You can actually look it up on Google Maps if you do a search for Tom Milk Farm. It's actually about a 15-minute drive from my house. And you can get all sorts of stuff there, but they do not have fish. I mean, it doesn't make any sense for a milk farm to have fish. They have lots of cows, they have sheep, goats, rabbits. Actually, they have rabbits. They have like a mule, a couple of ponies, stuff like that. Kind of like a petting zoo almost. Here's the 3-2 pitch outside, ball 4. So after 2 strikeouts, Hernandez gives up a walk to Urshela. That'll bring up Max Schumann. They said that his pitch count, his high pitch count for this year with Sugarland is 35. He's about to throw his 30th right now. Here comes the toss. Swing and a miss on the outside. Strike 1. You know what? I'm not sure that they make ghee. I'm not sure if they. I haven't seen it. You can get butter, and custard and some jams and all sorts of little things, but I haven't specifically looked for ghee. Strike 2 to Schumann. 0-2 with 2 outs and a runner on first. Nick Hernandez on the mound trying to wrap it up here in the 5th. This is hit hard to left center field. Is this going to be a 3-out? Yes, it's going to be the 3rd out. How about that? The very first inning with the Astros didn't give up a single run in the 5th inning. Good job. It only took 5 innings to get that accomplishment. Achievement unlocked. The score remains 9-0. We go into the bottom of the 5th. Now, the first 4 innings belonged to the A's. What if the Astros owned the 5th through the 9th? How wonderful that would be. What a wonderful world that would be. Nick Hernandez has been in since last inning, Jordan. I forgot to change the picture on the screen. My bad. There we go. Sorry about that. I totally forgot to change my picture on the screen. But yeah, Nick Hernandez is in the game. He came in after Gusto was pulled. Gusto had 1 out in the 4th and a runner on. He'd given up a double and another RBI. Another earned run, rather. And then they pulled him out, put in Hernandez. Hernandez gave up a 2-run homer, and he finished the inning, and then he finished the 5th. But the 5th inning is the first inning we've had a pitcher come up and get 3 outs, not give up any runs. Good for him. He's been in a couple of times. They pulled him up from the minors before, once or twice. Because actually, I already had his picture made, and I remember him pitching one time for the Astros, filling in a while back. Cam Smith? No, this Cooper Hummel at the plate. The information on my screen just changed. I was looking at the information and not the screen. Cooper Hummel swings and misses for strike 1. Springs still on the mound. Takes a long pause, and finally here comes the pitch. Hummel fouls it off for strike 2. Wild fish and wild women in Japan. There are not too many wild women here. They're mostly conservative. Here's the pitch. This is hit up the middle. It's a little bouncer to the shortstop. He has to fire over quickly to first base, but he gets him for the out. Wilson with the ground out toss to first base. 1 up and 1 down. The Astros still looking for their 3rd hit of the game. A's got 9 runs on the board. Astros don't even have 1. Come on now, Doobie. First pitch on the outside edge for strike 1. Yeah, I do feel bad for the guys at the game. Spend the money, spend the time to go down to your local park in your hometown, and then you're getting blown out by the A's. 1 ball and 1 strike with that delivery. The count is even. Yeah, Texas, the Astros are winning. Shake, you're right. Really. Fouled off. 1-2 is the count to Doobie. Yeah, Texas repo. It's the other way around. Here comes a 1-2 pitch. In the dirt. And that'll make it even at a 2-2. I can tell you some interesting stories about my dating experience here. I wouldn't call it wild, but it's pretty crazy. That pitch was not quite in there, actually. 3 balls and 2 strikes. We got the full count. Doobie takes a little timeout and steps out of the box for a moment. Only 1 out right now. It would be nice to have a guy on base at least. Here comes the 3-2. Fouled off. Good pitch to swing at. 87 right in the zone. The main women that are looking for a relationship here are either... Here comes a 3-2 pitch. Grounded up the middle. Should be an easy play for the second baseman, and it is for out number 2. But so far my dating experience has been this. It has been the women who are single and never married at all. For some reason, they got to be like 38, 39, 40 years old and had never married and were very picky and pretty judgmental about guys. And so obviously those things didn't work out. Chaz at the plate. He does have 1 hit today. Off the butt of the pitcher, Springs. He sprang one off of Springs' butt. 1-0 pitch to Chaz on the way. He rifles that to the left side. A line drive single. Chaz. The Chaz Mabian Devil starting to shake and come out of his slumber. Nice. We have ourselves a 2-out base runner. Are we going to strand him, or are we going to put some runs on the board? Now, if the rest of the game belongs to the Astros, then it's our turn to put some runs on the board. Maybe 3 runs. Short at the plate. That should have been a ball on the outside, about 2 inches out of the zone, called a strike. But yeah, what I was saying about the dating thing, the other type of women were either divorced women, or women with single moms, or women that were still married. This is hit hard to left field, all the way at the Crawford boxes. It's gone! A 2-run shot by Zach Shorts. How about that? Springs suddenly gives up a 2-run homer to Zach Short. We've got 2 runs on the board, guys. 9-2. How about that? The Astros need to come out and dump Gatorade on Zach Short. That's what the Astros should do right now. Just celebrate like they just won the World Series, right? On a walk-off. Springs was really unhappy with that one. Right in the middle of the plate, and Short just took it right out there, 1 row deep into the Crawford boxes. 9-2. Cam Smith now at the plate. Back to the top of the batting order. 4 hits now for the Stros. They've doubled their hits between McCormick and Shorts. All right. Here's the next pitch to Smith, right in there, 74 miles an hour on the Swiffer. One for 2 today with a single. Another one into the Crawford boxes would be good. 91 on the outside. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. 1-2. Short's first big league homer. Let's see. Yeah, I guess so. Or a second one if the information isn't updated. Fouled off by Cam Smith. The count remains 1-2. Here's the pitch. Chris, what are you talking about? Are you talking math in here? Are you trying to be confusing with your mathematics? Here's a 2-2. Low and away. Full count. 3-2. Are you trying to be cute with your mathematics? Altuve on deck. Rubbing the bat up. Here comes the full count to Cam Smith. This is hit hard to left field, all the way out to the wall. It's going to be playable. Yes, it is. Running catch by the left fielder. Man, Cam Smith gave it a nice line drive ride, but it wasn't quite enough. Goodness gracious, we almost got our 3rd run. But finally, think about that. Okay, here's the reason why the Astros scored 2 runs. Because in the top of the 5th, the A's didn't score any runs. And that means that the Astros had permission to score runs. So that's the way this game goes. If one team scores in an inning, the other team is not allowed to score. If one team doesn't score, then the other team can score. So it's up to the A's. If the A's don't score, then it's like, okay, now you can score. That's the way it's working this game. That's the way it's working this game. Let's see here. Let's get caught up. We're on break now. Top of the 6th coming up in just a moment. But you're right, Jordan. If you want to go for wild women, there are better choices than Japan. Of course, if you got a lot of money, you could come to Japan and find a wild women to hang out with in the major cities. But you're gonna have to speak a certain level of Japanese in order to really enjoy yourself, though, because finding a bunch of women to hang out with who are wild and enjoying your money is difficult if they don't speak English. So it's easier in other places. If I were 20 and had a Japanese anime gal, I'd marry her forever. You might not. I mean, Japan is maybe not exactly the way you're picturing it. Here comes the first pitch to Carlos Cortez. Hernandez is still in the game, and nobody's warming up in the bullpen for the Astros, so they're just going to let him go for a while. He's now at 33 pitches, 2 away from his high for the season. Low and inside. 1 ball, 1 strike to Cortez. You just as soon get one of those dolls. Are you serious? This is fouled down the first baseline. 1-2 to Cortez. Gotta love the autocorrect. Engineer. I am a writer and director. The only time I pay attention to mathematics or engineering is when it matters to my story. Then I will have to research it until I understand it so that I can write it correctly. But other than that, I just run away from it. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Check swing. Did he go around? They say he did. Strike 3. Hernandez picks up his 5th strikeout. Man, other than that home run, Hernandez has looked pretty good. Man, nice pitch. 1 away. Nobody on. Nick Kurtz. This is the true test. Hernandez is going to pitch to Kurtz. Let's see how it goes. This is hit high in the air. Looks like it's going to be playable. No, it floats into the crowd. It was crushed way up high. Dangerous. Way up high. And into the crowd. Kurtz obviously swinging for the fences there. But he goes over the wrong fence that he was aiming for. Kurtz does not even look like a baseball player. He looks like some kind of awkward kid that lives down the street. This is hit opposite field, and it's going to be gone to the Crawford boxes. Yep. Can you believe it? Single, home run, double, home run for Nick Kurtz. It's 10-2. The crowd is booing. Can't blame them. 10 hits, 10 runs for the A's. They get to double digits. Double digits. Let's take a look at the pitch. A splitter that didn't really move. Right in the middle of the zone, opposite field, right into the Crawford boxes. Easy peasy. Easy peasy Japanesey. Yeah, you're right, Jordan. That's what Cam was supposed to do, and he couldn't pull it off. But then again, Kurtz is a much bigger guy. A lot stronger. Brent Rooker at the plate takes the first pitch for ball 1. 1-0. Here's the toss. Low and outside. Ball 2. 1 away, nobody on. Astros putting up the sad face today. Here's the pitch. Three straight balls to Brent Rooker. Hernandez getting a little shy after giving up another home run. Here comes the pitch. 90 miles an hour on the outside edge. Strike 1, 3-1. Still nobody going in the bullpen for the Astros. Hernandez up to 43 pitches now. This is his highest pitch count of the season. Even in the minors, he didn't throw this many. A little outside, but called strike 2, 3-2. Here comes the toss. Check swing on the outside. Did he go around? No, he did not, they say. That's ball 4. Full count walk. So we have a runner on first with 1 out. Man, what a terrible live stream as far as performance, right? The Astros have killed this live stream. 36 people watching and 40 likes. Just a few days ago, I had nearly 200 people watching and over 100 likes. 2 games in a row. And the first game was like 97 likes. I almost had 3 games in a row over 100. Those are records for this year. But right now, it's kind of like a record low. This is back to my start of the season numbers right now. You see how much the performance of the Astros actually affects my performance? 91 miles an hour up and out for ball 1. Runner on first with 1 away and 1 ball, no strikes to Shea Langoliers. Here's the toss. Hit high in the air on the right side. Walker is back. Looks like he can play it, and he does for out number 2. Langoliers goes down, and that'll bring up Tyler Soderstrom. Yeah, throw it back, throw it back. That's right, Chris. Throw it back on the field. Throw it back on the field. Well, I definitely don't want to lose 20-2. 10-2 is already bad enough. Unless we go ahead and bring in a position player to pitch, we could do that. I don't mind losing 20-2 if the next 10 runs come off of a position player. One ball, no strikes to Tyler Soderstrom. Here comes the pitch. High, just a tad high. 2 balls and no strikes. We got a runner on first with 2 outs. Hey, from Burglar. Here's the pitch. Man, right in the bottom of the zone. Should have been called a strike there. Umpire lays off. 3 balls and no strikes. Another 3-0 count. And now Ort is out warming up in the bullpen. King is out there walking around. Here's the pitch. Right in the middle of the zone. 89 miles an hour on the fastball. 3-1 is the count. John, that's a good question. How are they under 500? 10 games under with all the power at the plate. Doesn't make any sense, does it? Foul ball. Full count. Nick Hernandez has pitched 52 pitches. 3-2 count with 2 outs. Come on, man. You can do it. You just need 1 strike. Fouls it off. We'll try again. John, I appreciate you saying that, but actually, I'm the only live play-by-play on YouTube for the Astros that does live play-by-play. There are some reactions, but nobody does it consistently, and nobody calls the games. That's one of the reasons. That's one of the main reasons I decided to do it. And that's in the dirt for ball 4. So the inning extends. Another walk for Hernandez. 2 runners on, 2 outs. Are they going to pull him? He's up to 54 pitches. He is 20 pitches basically over his highest total of the season. Yeah, I will be calling the Nationals Astros games. I call all of the Astros games. That's right. Jacob Wilson at the plate. First pitch is high and outside for ball one. Nick Hernandez digs his heels in to start working on his next walk. Well, hey, better walks than homers, right? Here's the 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss, 90, right in the middle of the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 runners on. Here comes the 1-1 pitch from Hernandez. Wilson swings and fouls it off on the first base side, and that's strike 2, 1-2. Yeah, you're right, John. There is a lady who does, she's part of like a network. They do all sorts of games, and they have different live streamers for different games, but she always does the Astros games. I tried to listen to her for a while. I think she does a good job, but the problem is my Spanish is very so-so. Whoa, up and in. Talk about a brushback. That's a yield brushback. 2 balls and 2 strikes. What's up, DeLion? You guys want to know what the game has been like today? This is what it's been all day long. This right here, just nothing but a bunch of jams. This is hit to center field. McCormick is underneath it for out number 3. So Hernandez does give up another run with the homer, the opposite field homer to Nick Kurtz, his second of the game. 10-2. The Astros are just barely trailing. They only need 8 runs to tie it up. And they've got 4 opportunities to do that. The 6th, the 7th, the 8th, and the 9th. John, I kind of agree with you. Let the hitters keep hitting and doing what they can, and just forget about the pitching. Just because here's my problem right now. If you're like, well, we got some guys in the bullpen we never use. Let's give them a chance to get out there and do some pitching. I disagree. I think not in this situation. Because all of the other pitchers have already been, I say all of the other pitchers, Hernandez and Gusto have been destroyed in this game. Why give the A's the opportunity, excuse me, to make them look even worse by destroying another pitcher? Just bring in Shea Whitcomb or something. Let him pitch. DeLion, that's a good question. The reason I'm wearing it is because it looks kind of like a Jordan shirt, but if you notice, whoops, wrong side. If you notice, it's Jordan. It's an Air Jordan shirt. This is actually a really cool short sleeve button down shirt that I got while I was in China. It was a set. It was some nice shorts and the shirt set together. Very comfortable, very nice, very high quality. And I got it while I was in Beijing. No, actually, I think I got this one while I was in Shanghai because I was with my friends, and they weren't in Beijing. Bryce Matthews at the plate. First pitch was on the outside edge for a strike. Second pitch is swinging a strike. 0-2, just like that. Altuve's out of the game. They have pulled him out. Probably a good idea. Matthews in for him. 91 in the top of the zone. He fouls it off. Count remains 0-2. Yeah, Chill Gaming, I've seen that one before. Makes a lot of good content, I think. But you know, there are some guys that do a pretty good job. I think obviously there are a lot of guys that do a good job with live play-by-play. But my thing is, I don't care about live play-by-play for teams that I don't follow. 92 miles an hour on the top of the zone, swing and a miss. Bryce Matthews goes down swinging, out number 1. I mean, right now during baseball season, the only team that I want to follow is the Astros. Now in Japan, I follow the local team, which is the Hiroshima Carp. Caratini hits the first one deep to center field, all the way back to the warning track, but playable by Butler. He gave it a ride, but it doesn't have the distance of an A's bat. Out number 2. Walker is also done for the night. John Singleton comes in for Christian Walker. Now that the Astros have all of these guys coming in, wouldn't it be funny for them to come back and tie the game or win the game? It's happened before with other teams. 84 above the zone. Ball 1 to John Singleton. Big John. The biggest comeback of all time, if I'm not mistaken. The coach pulled out a lot of his starters and put in a bunch of other guys, and they wound up coming back and tying it, putting it into extra innings, and then they won the game ultimately. Nice catch by the shortstop. John Singleton rifled that ball opposite field, diving catch, and he threw it over to first base to get John Singleton just in time for out number 3. So no lucky break there. Not even for a little hit. 4 hits for the Astros and 2 runs. 10 hits for the A's and 10 runs. No errors for anybody. Actually, there is one error. There's one major error. And that is this game. This game is itself an error for the Astros. This game is just one big blue screen for the Astros. Chris, I would definitely love to see Victor Caratini on the mound throwing some pitches. I'd love to see that. It'd be interesting to see how the Batman would fare on the mound. Crispy, yeah, so far today. Well, you could also argue that Chaz has been the best because he has 2 hits. He's the only Astro with 2 hits today. It is true that Short has the home run, but Chaz has 2 hits, you know, so who's the MVP today? I really don't know. You can't even tell who's the worst player today. Well, I guess you can. If you could just say that it was Gusto. You have to. Gusto, and then behind him is Hernandez. Our pitchers destroyed us today. And, you know, here's the silly thing, guys. If you look at the score, it's 10-2, and we're in the top of the 7th inning. We haven't even started the 7th inning yet. And I guarantee you, this is what you're going to see. If you go into some of these podcasts later on in these channels where they're talking the post game show, and by the way, Ort is in the game. He just threw his last warm up pitch. He'll be playing. He'll be pitching for the Astros from the top of the 7th. But what you're going to see in a lot of these post game videos, if you look at the live chat, you'll see a bunch of people talking about how the Astros, the problem is their bats and they need to score runs or whatever. But that's, I don't want to say it's stupid because that's too harsh, but it's a lack of thinking. Because look at the score. Look at the score right now, and you tell me if the problem today is the Astros not hitting and not scoring. Lawrence Butler grounds that. No, that was a line drive. Whitcomb is in the game, and he scoops it up. I thought that was a line, like a one hopper, but apparently it was a line drive. One away. Good catch. But that's the thing I don't understand. Today, Gusto and Hernandez have given up 10 runs, and you'll still have people in the live chat complaining about how the Astros didn't score any runs today. That was not the problem. The problem was they gave up 10 runs. That was the problem. Maybe even more by the time the game is over. 83 miles an hour in the top of the zone to Urshela, and that evens the count 1-1. Here comes the next pitch from Ort. Outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. 1 away. Urshela at the plate here in the top of the 7th. Doobie can do it all. Maybe, yeah, I think so. Jordan. He can do both. He can throw it and catch it at the same time. Fouled off. The count is even at 2-2. Here comes a pitch. Outside, full count. Here comes the toss. Outside, 98 miles an hour, ball 4. Urshela will go to first base on the full count walk from Ort. So we have a 1-out base runner on base here in the top of the 7th. Jordan, if Doobie pitches and catches at the same time, it can't be worse than what we've had so far. Here's the pitch. In the low part of the zone, 97 miles an hour, strike 1 to Max Schumann. It's funny how the A's, they're not pulling their guys out. They're keeping their starters in. Isn't that ridiculous? They really want to pound the Astros into the ground. 98 up and in. Isn't that funny? They haven't had a single pinch hitter yet. They're up by 8 runs, and they still got all of their main guys in the game right now. If they do that in the next inning, that's going to be irksome. Fouled off. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Yeah, we could get 10 runs. Whether they'll do it or not, the chances of that are not in our favor. Possible? Yes. Probable? No. Here comes a 1-2 pitch from Ort. Fouled off, 98 miles an hour. Count remains 1-2. Yeah, we don't do the high-scoring games very often. They don't blow up too often. Here comes it 1-2. Swing and a foul tip. Diaz can't hang on. Count remains 1-2. One-two pitch once again from Ort. Low and outside. Counts even, 2-2. Elvis has entered the building. Elvis Alvarado. Hey, mama, I'm gonna come in and pitch him a ball, mama. Elvis Alvarado. Alvarado. Interesting name. Elvis Alvarado. Alvarado. On the ground at third, Whitcomb to Matthews. Matthews to first base. A yield Astros double play. Ort gets us a double play. Haven't seen one of those for the Stros. And I don't know how long. That does it for the top of the 7th. Only the 2nd inning the Astros didn't give up a run in this whole game. Through 7 innings, 5 of the 7, we gave up runs. Ten to 2. Bottom of the 7th coming up. If there's no change to the lineup, we're going to have Yainer Diaz, Cooper Hummel, and Shea Whitcomb. Unless they decide to sit Yainer. I don't see why they would do that, since he's catching and Caratini is also in the game. But who knows? Stranger things have happened. Stranger things have happened. Pardon me while I get some things straight on my screen here. Alright, there we go. Should have a new pitcher on the mound, I believe. Should be Elvis, right? Yep, Elvis Alvarado. Alvarado. Hell no, peanut butter, peanut butter, banana sandwich. Something like that. First pitch to Diaz on the way. Diaz hits it in the air out to left field. Should be playable, and it is. Out number 1. 1 pitch, 1 out. Might as well. Why battle at the plate? Just accept it. 1 swing, 1 out. Cooper Hummel, 0 for 2 today with a ground out and a fly out. Here's the first pitch. 99 on the outside edge. Could have been a strike, and it was. Here comes the next toss. 100 up and out. 1-1. Here comes the 1-1 pitch in the dirt. 90 miles an hour. 2-1. Yeah, I don't quite understand keeping everybody in. I mean, they're trying to make a point here, but I don't understand why. It's not like they're in competition for first place or anything. Outside, ball 3. 3-1 is the count. Yeah, they're burning themselves. What do you want to bet that the A's get destroyed tomorrow? Can't hit anything, and their pitchers get lit up. 99 miles an hour, inside swing and a miss. Full count. Yeah, it has been strange. Up until this point, it has been better than we thought it would, but now it's like, whoa, 100 miles an hour above the zone. Could have been ball 4, but Hummel went after it. Struck him out. Hey, mama. Got you on struggle, mama. Looks like Elvis has on his green suede shoes today. Shea Whitcomb at the plate for his first at-bat. Here's the toss from Elvis. 88 a little high. Ball 1. Here comes the pitch. A little low below the zone. 99 miles an hour, ball 2. Elvis chewing his gum like crazy, looking for the pitch. He's got what he wants. Here comes the toss. 100 miles an hour on the outside edge, fouled back by Whitcomb. 2 balls and 1 strike. They're trying to make a statement, Jordan. That's what I think. I think the A's are trying to make a statement. They're trying to make it hurt. This is grounded to the right side. Whitcomb grounds out to the first baseman. Elvis Alvarado, 3 up and 3 down. Doesn't matter what pitcher the A's put in there. They can put in there whoever they want. It doesn't really matter right now. Do you guys want to take bets on whether or not the A's substitute any of their batters in this next inning? Because they've got the top of the batting order due up. Cortez, Kurtz, and Rooker. Do you want to bet whether they keep them in the game or not? We'll see. Yeah, even our manager. That's right. Our manager is. It's not his rookie season, but it's definitely not his veteran season. He's still a little wet behind the ears. He just got off the boat. Let's see here. What a game. What a game. Trying to look up some stats for Zach Short. Okay, the home run today by Zach Short is his second of the season. It's not his first. I thought it was his second. And that's correct. He's got 2 this season. Ort is back on the mound. 96 on the inside. Swing and a miss by Carlos Cortez. Now, Cortez still in the game, but he is a new guy, so it's no big deal. They've got him still in the game. Next pitch is hit hard down the left field line and just foul. That had almost home run distance. Oh and 2 is the count to Cortez. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Fouled off. Inside pitch. The Swiffer. Come on, Ort. Let's have a clean inning. Here's the toss. Grounded to short at short. He fires over to first in the dirt, but John Singleton makes a good scoop. Out number 1. Minor leaguer to minor leaguer for out number 1. Yeah, I agree with you, Chris. The A's are not. And by the way, Kurtz is at the plate. They are letting Kurtz bat. This is crushed to right field on the very first pitch. Are you kidding me? into the upper deck. First pitch. Nick Kurtz, third home run of the game. That's 3 home runs, a single, and a double for Nick Kurtz. It's 11-2. 11 hits and 11 runs for the A's. Yeah, Crispy, there's no life on either side of the ball for the Astros. You're right, Crispy, we did let it happen. You know what? The A's bring in Nick Kurtz, okay? They bring him in when they should have just substituted the guy. And the Astros went ahead and pitched to him instead of just walking him. They should have spit in the eye of the A's by just walking the guy. Just walk him. Why did you pitch to him? I don't get it. 1-0 is the count to Brent Rooker. Next pitch is in there for strike 1, 1-1. Whew, what in the world is going on? Bad coaching decision even in a game like this. Even when they're losing and by 10 or 10-2, still make a decision like that. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Colby Thomas, by the way, is at the plate. Rooker is out of the game. So they do take out Rooker. They left in Kurtz. But they took out Rooker for Colby Thomas. 97-mile-per-hour fastball in the top of the zone. All the way into the upper deck. And an Astros fan gets it and starts celebrating. If I were up there and I got it, I'd keep the ball. But I wouldn't be celebrating about it. My thought is, I'm going to sell it as soon as I get home. I'm going to sell it online. Make some money off of it. I don't want that ball. Next pitch to Thomas is a swing and a miss for a strikeout. He goes down. Thomas batting 118 for the year. Not a surprise to see him strike out. But the way things are going for the Astros today, then again, I wouldn't have been surprised to see a home run. The A's have scored in every inning except for 2. Even if they were only scoring 1 run per inning. That would still be beating the Astros 6-2. That first pitch to Langoliers is on the outside edge for strike number 1. This is fouled away into the crowd for strike 2. The count is 0-2. Well, Jordan, you know, the A's and the Astros have already made a little bit of trading, right? Maybe after this game they'll make some kind of announcement. 0-2 pitch from Ort to Langoliers. Long delay there. Fouled off. Count remains 0-2. Yeah, if we don't learn, Crispy, if we don't learn after today to walk Kurtz, if we're not going to have an ace on the mound, then we need to walk Kurtz. It's pretty simple. Yeah, it's been painful for a while, Fox. It's been quite painful. Here comes the pitch. Low and outside. Counts even 2-2. 2 outs, nobody on. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Yeah, Crispy, and so does our rookie. Our rookie even doesn't want to get Rookie of the Year. Even our own rookie is trying to lose that the way he's playing right now. Ball 3. Full count with 2 outs against Langoliers. Come on, get that strike. Too far inside, ball 4. Astros pitchers consistently losing the battle at 3-2. Jordan, they've got a lot of cool Hiroshima gear here, Hiroshima Carp baseball stuff. By the way, my Hiroshima Carp jersey, I've got that. Maybe I should wear that one day so you guys can see it. Foul down the first base side by Tyler Soderstrom. Strike 1. I did have a standard Hiroshima Carp baseball hat, but a good friend of mine came from China to visit, and I gave it to him as a gift. Very kind of a common thing, especially in China, if you have something that someone else likes, just to give it to them as a gift. 1-1 is the count. Here's the pitch, right in the bottom of the zone for strike 2, 1-2. But I remember one time my girlfriend in China was wearing one of my caps. I had 2 really nice caps. One was the Alliance and one was the Horde from World of Warcraft. 82 inside, fouled off. The count remains 1-2. And she was wearing my Horde, my black Horde hat. Now, it's not her hat. It was not her hat. It was mine. But she was kind of staying with me at the time, and she was just wearing it when she was visiting her family. That's below the zone. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Soderstrom. 2 outs, 2 balls, 2 strikes, runner on first. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strikeout. Finally, Ort gets out of the inning. But he gave up another homer, another run to Nick Kurtz. We go to the bottom of the 8th. We'll see if the Astros can close the gap a little bit between the 8th and the 9th. We'll see. But anyway, my girlfriend, she visited with her family. I think they had some kind of big family event, kind of like what you would call a family reunion in America, but they have them more often there, where they have a big event. The families get together and they eat together and they hang out and they talk and stuff like that. It's more regular, more common, and not quite the big spectacle and specialness of what we'd have with some families in the U.S. Sometimes families will have a big family reunion every once in a while, and it's a pretty big deal. But in some families, many families in China, they get together and do these things often. They don't really think about it too much. It's just something they do. But I had to work that day. I couldn't go over there until later. And when I went over, she came to pick me up from my job, and we went over so I could get something to eat because they were cooking a lot of food and stuff. And she told me that when they were sitting down together, her cousin is, some guy who's about her age. He said, "I like your hat. I like that hat." He recognized it, World of Warcraft Horde or whatever. And she said, "Thanks." And then one of the aunties, she said, give him your hat." And she said, I can't give him this hat. And they said, "Why not? He likes it." And she said, "It's not my hat, it's my boyfriend's hat." And they said, "But he likes it." And they all got angry with her because she would not give him the hat, because that's the culture. Somebody says, "Hey, I like that hat," then you should give it to them. It's kind of ridiculous. McCormick is at the plate attempting to get his 3rd hit for the day. Swing and a miss on that first pitch, strike 1. But she actually held her ground, and she said, "Listen, it's not my hat to give. When my boyfriend gets here, if he wants to give it to you, you can ask him." But whenever I arrived, nobody asked me. They were scared of me. Outside. 1-1 to McCormick. Elvis has not left the building. He is still on the mound. Here comes a pitch. A little low. 2 balls and 1 strike. Well, you know, historically, our 3-2 counts have not been very bad, but today they've been garbage crispy. They really have. And then the 0-2 pitches have turned into disaster several times. Even home runs. Here's the pitch. Chaz tries to poke it through for a 3rd hit, but he grounds out to the 3rd baseman for 1 away here in the bottom of the 8th. I feel like this game is never ending. Maybe it's because I got up so early today. The spider woke me up around 4:30. I've been up since then. It's been 7 hours ago. I got up 7 hours ago, and it's 11:41 in the morning here. Zach Short at the plate. 100 on the inside. Fouled off. Strike 1. You talking about the new stadium in Hiroshima? Here's the pitch. One ball, 1 strike. The 100-mile-per-hour slider missing. They've got a really cool-looking football stadium that they just completed not long ago. It is really cool-looking. 98 miles an hour, swing and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Zach Short. Here's a pitch. 100 right in the zone. Taken for strike 3. Elvis gets the strikeout, baby. Mr. Zach Short, you go sit down over there, son. It's not your time yet, son. No, not with me, boy. Cam Smith back up at the plate today. Let's see if he can improve his chances for Rookie of the Year. In the dirt, ball 1. Okay. They recently completed, just within like the past year and a half, they completed a new football stadium, soccer stadium that is, in Hiroshima for the local team. It's a really cool stadium. I haven't been in there yet, but I want to go. They do have plans and are in the pre-construction phase, I guess you could say, for a new stadium for the local team, local baseball team. 99 above the zone. 3 straight balls to Cam Smith. $40 tickets. It's for a minor league game, though. I don't know how I feel about that. $40 for a minor league game. 98 miles an hour right in there. 3 balls and 1 strike. 2 outs, nobody on. Crank it up, Cam at the plate. Hasn't been very crank it up lately. Only a couple of hits yesterday and today. Here comes the 3-1 pitch. 99, swing and a miss in the top of the zone. The Diesel over there drinking some regular unleaded, looks like. Here comes the full count pitch. Tapped foul. Count remains full. It's a Cubs minor league team. I always hated that. When I was in Shreveport, the minor league team was the Shreveport Captains. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. High, ball 4. So 1 hit and 1 walk today for Cam Smith. That's going to give another opportunity for Bryce Matthews, who's in for Altuve. Wouldn't mind seeing another blast by Bryce Matthews today, especially after on this pitcher. He's a fast ball pitcher. 98, swing and a miss, up and in. Gotcha. Still a lot cheaper than going to a college game, right? or a major league game. Here's a toss in the dirt outside. How did he catch that one? 1 ball, 1 strike to Bryce Matthews. 2 outs. Cam Smith on first base. That'd be interesting. Here's the next pitch. Fouled off. Probably better weather in Asheville. Definitely a better climate, I would think, than in Houston. Here comes the 1-2, way up inside. Cam is going to take second base, and they don't care. They just let him go. 30 pitches now for Elvis. Maybe Cam can steal third. I'd say go for it right now. Go. Here's a pitch in the dirt. Full count. Bryce Matthews at the plate with the full count. Cam Smith on second, 2 away. Wow, Jordan, that's amazing. Must have been heartbreaking for you when they left, just like it was for me. Nothing doing there. Swing and a foul tip strikeout for Bryce Matthews. Elvis mows the Astros down, basically. 2 innings in a row. We're moving into the 9th inning, guys. Just hang in there a little longer. Anybody who's still following along and listening in, thanks for being here. You're a real trooper. I've got to do this. I don't have any choice. I would be a bad play-by-play streamer if I left this game early. It would be shame on me. It looks like I've been live now for 2 hours and 46 minutes. But it feels like 5 hours. That's what it feels like. Well, I'm not talking about blame. I mean, people can give all their different reasons about who was to blame for the Oilers leaving, but I didn't care about any of that. All I cared about was that my favorite team and my favorite sport that I grew up loving more than any other team left Houston. And they kept the colors, did not leave behind the name, changed the team name. So they changed the location, changed the name, kept the colors, and completely crushed my heart. I stopped watching NFL after that, and I don't care about NFL anymore. And actually, over the years, I found other reasons, not on purpose, but there are other reasons why I don't care about the NFL. I mean, it is essentially the WWE of professional sports. It's an entertainment league, not a sports league. Hey, Cooper Hummel's on the mound, guys. First pitch is a strike. The second pitch is a fly out to left field. The tram is out there, and he makes the catch. Crowd is cheering. They love that. So Cooper Hummel can throw a Hummer. Is that right? His first pitch was 74 miles an hour. That's not bad. Here's the next pitch. 78 right in there. Look at that. Strike 1 against Butler. Here comes the next toss. On the outside edge and low. 82 miles an hour. Look at Hummel. 1-1. Here's the pitch. Strike 2. Fastball high. 82 miles an hour. 82 miles an hour. 1-2. Look at this. Oh, he hits that one. Butler gets a hit, a single out to left field, opposite field single, but he couldn't pull it. Opposite field, man, Hummel. Oh, Hummel's like, wow, I got a strike. 84 miles an hour is his fastest pitch so far. Now he's facing Gio Urshela with a runner on and one out. Here's a pitch. This is hit hard to left field all the way out to the wall. Off the wall. Big bounce. Butler heads to third. He gets a double. Runners on second and third. Why did they wait until the 9th inning to do this? Goodness gracious me. Max Schumann at the plate. Here comes the first pitch from Hummel. That's ripped to third. Shea Whitcomb goes to first base to get the out. But Butler scores 12-2 A's. So Hummel has given up 2 hits and 1 run. Still better than pretty much all the other pitchers, except for Ort maybe. Ort did give up 1, but he had another clean inning, another good inning. 79-mile-per-hour strike to Carlos Cortez. Here's the next pitch. Cortez hits one through the center field. That's going to be another run scored. No, he stops at third. Oh my gosh, Nick Kurtz is at the plate. Are you kidding me? Nick Kurtz at the plate with runners on the corners. It's like they want him to hit 4 home runs. Here's the pitch. High, ball 1. Yes, Cooper Hummel is pitching. Jordan, you heard me right. That's crazy, right? Kurtz at the plate. Outside, ball 2. Hummel has 2 outs and runners on the corners. Is he going to be able to get Kurtz? This is hit hard to left field, all the way out to the Crawford boxes. It's gone. That's home run number 4. Three-run homer by Kurtz off of Cooper Hummel. 15-2. His 4th home run of the game. No A's player has ever had a 4-homer game. Ever. This is the first time. And then the next batter gets hit by Hummel. 73 miles an hour. Colby Thomas, he'll take first base. So the game continues. Jordan, you don't know the reason why I'm making a big deal out of 80, 82, 84 mile per hour pitches? It's because usually when the position players come in, they throw it like 54. This is hit up the middle, stopped by Bryce Young, but Bryce Matthews rather, Bryce Young. But he can't make a play anywhere. Runners are safe at first and second. That's going to be an infield hit. 2 outs, 2 runners on. Yeah, Blister and all bring in McCullers. 75 on the upper outer edge. Strike 1 to Tyler Soderstrom. Man, I just want this to be finished. Here's the pitch. This is hit out into center field in the gap all the way to the wall and caught on the run by Chas McCormick. Great catch by Chas McCormick, and Hummel finally gets out of the inning, but not before giving up 4 more runs. Major league record tied with Nick Kurtz getting 4 home runs. New franchise record No A's player has ever gotten 4 home runs in a game before. Astros losing 15-2 to the A's. To the A's. It's not the Dodgers. It's not the Cubs. It's not the Yankees. It's the A's. At home in Daikin Park. 16 runs. I'm sorry, 16 hits, 15 runs. The Astros only have 4 hits and 2 runs. Yes, Chaz, thank you for putting the nail in the coffin finally. It's like the A's shock us back to torture us to death, and then shock us back and then torture us to death. And Chaz finally comes in and puts an end to it. Yep, might as well have it now. You know, that's an interesting thing, though. We can do a quick poll. There we go. Quick poll right here at the end of the game for you guys. It's a good question. Ben Bowden is in the game for the A's, an actual pitcher, not a position pitcher. But, you know, I guess with a 13-run lead, they can't risk giving up any more runs. The Tram is at the plate. Fouls this one off for strike 1. There is a poll in the chat. Would you rather lose like this to the A's or a big market team like the Yankees or the Cubs or the Dodgers? What do you think? Trammell takes that pitch for ball 1. It's the bottom of the 9th. It's go time. We need 13 runs to push this into the 10th. Here's the 1-1 pitch. This is hit up the middle. Left center field might turn into a double. Does he have the legs to get there? Yes, he does. The Tram, baby. The Tram comes up his first at bat and gets a double. The comeback has begun. Hit number 5 for the Astros. We only need about 11 more hits and 13 more runs. What's going on with Houston? I can tell you, Patty. I can tell you what's going on. They borrowed the pitching and hitting coaches from the Dodgers for this game today. Big John Singleton at the plate with no outs, runner on second. And the low part of the zone there for strike 1. What is this pitcher's name again? Ben Bowden. Here's the toss to Singleton. That one's a little below the zone for ball 1. 1-1. Yeah, Chris, I kind of hear that. We don't need our catchers hurting their arms. They have hard enough times it is throwing out the runner stealing. Tram goes over to third base on the ground out by Singleton. 1 away. Runner on third. We move this guy in, Yiner. Yiner Diaz. If Yiner can move one guy in, then we'll only need a dozen more runs. Right now we need the baker's dozen. Come on, Diaz. Think donuts, baby. Think donuts. Here's the pitch. He fouls it off. 93-mile-per-hour fastball. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. opposite field, but it looks like it's going to be foul. Just into the stands over there. 0-2 is the count against Diaz. Yes, Max. So you're saying there's a chance. That's exactly right. 1 in a million. Still a chance. Here comes the 0-2 pitch to Diaz from Bowden. Fouled off again. Yeah, Crispy, you're talking about sweeping the Dodgers and how it compares to losing to the A's. Isn't it bipolar, right? Isn't it quite bipolar? It's crazy. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Tapped down the third baseline. Diaz is trying to make something happen. Just like the poultry section in the supermarket. A lot of fouls. Another 0-2 pitch on the way from Bowden. Way high. 1 ball and 2 strikes. By the way, there's a Japanese lady here that can never pronounce my name correctly. In Japanese, it's Burandon. Burandon. But she calls me Bowden. Mr. Bowden. I'm like, where do you get Bowden from? Here's the 1-2. Fouled off again. So the one pitcher that we really don't need to tire out is the one we are making work. Should have done this with the first pitcher, not this guy. 1 out, runner on third. Come on, Diaz. Here's the pitch. He hits it really hard to left field. That's going to be pretty deep all the way back to the wall. And they let it drop. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? I'm not sure exactly what happened there. They decided not to catch it. The left fielder and the center fielder, they come over and they're like, they just let it drop. That's funny. Are they just messing around or what? 94 on the inside. Ball 1 to Cooper Hummel. Diaz gets to second base. That counts as a hit on players' indifference, defenders' indifference, fielders' indifference, whatever you call it. I'm not sure exactly why they let that drop, but whatever. 15-3, the Astros score 1 run on that. That ball was in the dirt. 2 balls and 1 strike to Cooper Hummel. Diaz on second. Here comes the next pitch. This is hit high into the air. Foul ball. Looks like it's going to float out of play, and it does. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Hummel. Yeah, you're right, Max. The crowd actually cheered about that, but I don't see where that's anything to cheer about. You know what? Even the Astros commentators were very excited about that. They were really happy. But the reason is because one of them, they do the pick the stick thing where they pick to see which batter on the Astros is going to have the best day. Hummel fouls that off. Count stays 2-2. And because of that ball dropping, because of them letting it drop and that giving Yiner a hit, it means that one of them who picked Yiner either tied or could win their bet or whatever. 2-2 inside to count us full. 3-2. And they were all excited about that, but I don't see where that's anything to be excited about. I think that's kind of insulting, actually. Here comes the full count to Hummel. He hits this one out to right field, all the way out to the wall. He's under it. He makes the catch. He doesn't let that one fall. Diaz tags and goes to third. Runner on third with 2 outs. Shea Whitcomb comes to the plate. The only thing that I know of to really cheer for all day as an Astros fan was that homer by Short. Chaz had a nice hit, and then Short followed it up with a homer. That was a nice 2-hit combo. Right in the bottom of the zone, strike 1 to Whitcomb. Whitcomb batting .111 for the season. Here comes the next pitch. That's hit hard. That's blasted to left field, but it's going to die before it gets to the wall. It went way up high. I thought it was gone. But it turned into a bit of a duck and floated down. And that's it. The final score is 15-3. The Astros lose. My game recap today is going to be very truncated, if you guys don't mind. I'm not going to sit here and tell you about all the hits and the runs that the A's got. I will just tell you that they scored 3 in the first, 2 in the second, 1 in the third, 3 in the fourth, none in the fifth. That was the first inning where they didn't score any runs. They scored 1 more in the sixth, none in the seventh, 1 more in the 8th, and then 4 more in the 9th. The A's scored runs in every single inning except for the 5th and the 7th. They wound up with 15 runs on 16 hits and no errors. The Astros, on the other hand, went 4 innings scoreless, scored a 2-run inning in the 5th with a hit and then a a hit and then a homer by Zach Short. Chas McCormick followed by Zach Short, giving the Astros 2 runs. And then they were given a run. They were gifted a run in the 9th inning for their 3rd run. So they only really had 2 earned runs in that game. And just 6 hits. We got 6 hits off the A's, guys. 6 hits. Springs was on the mound today for the A's. He pitched 6 innings, gave up just 4 hits, and then the 2-run homer to Short. 5 strikeouts, 1 walk. Gusto got lit up today. Only pitched 3.1 innings, 8 hits, 8 runs, 5 strikeouts, and 1 walk. At least he did well in the walk area. That's all for the scoring summary and the pitching summary. I'm not going to go into any of the other details other than Hernandez came in and also gave up some runs. He pitched 2.2 innings, 2 hits, 2 runs. He had 5 strikeouts. Ort pitched 2 innings, 1 hit, 1 run, 2 strikeouts. Isn't that funny? Check this out. Gusto, 8 hits, 8 runs. Hernandez, 2 hits, 2 runs. Ort, 1 hit, 1 run. Hummel, 5 hits, 4 runs. So Hummel was the only one to not have a 100% hit to run ratio. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. And by the way, Hummel's ERA is 36 right now, in case you didn't know. Oh, goodness gracious. Goodness gracious. I'm glad this game is over. Astros lose 5-2 in Game 1, 15-3 in Game 2. Do we even want to talk about Game 3 tomorrow? But you know what? Hunter Brown is on the mound. Let's hope that tomorrow is Hunter Brown's comeback game, and he just blows the doors off the A's and pitches 7 innings. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. Jacob Lopez is pitching for the A's. His ERA is 4.6. 3 wins and 6 losses. Let's take a look at his details. 60.2 innings pitched, 57 hits. Close to 1 hit allowed per inning. 75 strikeouts over 60 innings. That's substantial. But 24 walks, that's pretty high. That is really high. So what I'm seeing is a guy who throws a lot of pitches. His strikeouts are high, but his walks are high. And his hits are almost even. 1 hit for every inning. So that tells me that he has to throw a lot of pitches. So maybe we can pull off a win tomorrow. But look at this. I want to show you this. We were predicted to win yesterday and today by like 65% to 35%. Now, tomorrow's game, look at this. Once again, do you guys remember what I told you yesterday? You can essentially look at the matchup predictor, and whatever it says for the Astros, you bet your money opposite, and that's how you'll win. It's a joke. Don't take me seriously, but I said that yesterday, and that's what happened. The Astros were predicted like 65% to win today, and they lost again. They got destroyed. Tomorrow, they're picked even more heavily, 75.4%. So what does that mean? Does that mean they're going to lose tomorrow? I certainly hope not. It's one thing that I don't want to be right about, even though I was joking. I don't want to be right about that. Let's forget about this game and this series for a moment and see what's going on around the league. The Submariners and the Broken Angels, or the Fallen Angels, are playing in the top of the 6th. It's tied up 2-2. Let's see. Wow, the Stankies got beat up by the Phillies 12-5. How about that? Let's see. Keep going. Blue Jays beat the Tigers 6-2. So that helps us out with the Tigers, but not with the Blue Jays. Anything else? The Rangers won. That's not good, but whatever. 8-3 over the Braves. Don't want to look at that score right there. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Just have to keep track of this game and see how this goes. Hopefully the Angels can pull ahead and beat the Mariners so that they don't gain any ground on us. But, yep. So I'll be following that game today. You guys and gals might be doing the same thing. Yeah, Max, it's the same song as yesterday. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Let's take a look at the poll. Only got about 12 votes, but I did put it up late in the game. The question is, would you rather lose like this to the A's or to a big market team? 83% of you say this is fine. So the overwhelming majority of 12 votes say that they would much rather lose to a team like the A's in this situation than to the big market teams. Yeah, I'm definitely not sad it's over. And you're right, Chris, the Dodgers have been sucking. They've been falling apart. It's so funny because at the beginning everybody's like, "Oh, they're the best. They're their defense, their offense, they're the best in the MLB. They're going to destroy everybody. They're going to win 110 games, and they're going to go to the World Series and win it, blah, blah, blah." And now it's like all of the articles I see are saying, oh, the Dodgers really need to make some moves at the trade deadline. By the trade deadline, they need some help. They need this. They need that. Wait a second. What happened, bro? What happened to your MLB World Series 2025 team? All right. It was a terrible performance, Braden. You're right. Don't let it bother you. Just let it go. Yes, Walter is on the DL, Jordan. He's got elbow inflammation. So that's all we know for now. That's all they're telling us. Even if they know what it is, they're not going to tell us. You know they're not going to tell us. Yeah, we definitely need a little help. What I would say is that we definitely need a starting pitcher, and we definitely need a strong left-handed bat. I don't want a guy with a 250 batting average and a 700 OPS. I don't want another 5.5 ERA starter. I want a starter that has an ERA under 3.5, who's able to pitch a lot of innings, who's got a lot of good movement, maybe somebody who doesn't give up a lot of home runs, somebody who keeps it on the ground, who's able to keep it on the ground. And I want a left-handed bat who's able to play multiple positions, whose OPS is over 800, preferably 850, has more than, I would say, more than 22 home runs, 23 home runs at least, has a really nice number of RBIs. That's what I want. That's my wish list. That's my minimal wish list. If they can get those guys, then do it. But I swear, if they start trading or buying guys and bringing in guys that are no better than what we have right now, I'm going to be a little put out with that. That's why I didn't want the guy that went to the Yankees, that third baseman. I did not want that guy. He was not going to help us. He was only batting around 215 this season. And even if he were performing at his best, why would we want a guy like that? I mean, think about this. Christian Walker right now, the way he's playing right now, would you trade for him? If he were not with the Astros, would you want to bring him over? If, let's say, he's having the exact same season that he's having right now, but he's having it with some other team, and then the Astros have the opportunity to bring him over and put him at first base. Now, everything else on the Astros is the same, right? We still have the same injuries. We have all the same issues, all the same problems with the left-handed bat, and all of that. Would you trade for Christian Walker right now? And I think the answer is clearly no, we would not. So if we would not trade for somebody like Christian Walker, why would we trade for somebody else who appears to be performing even worse than that? It makes no sense to me. Yep, that's right. You're absolutely right, Jordan. That's why when I woke up and I saw the news that the Yankees got that guy, they got that third baseman, I was so happy because I saw a couple of different articles where they were trying to say that the Astros could use him, and I thought, no, we couldn't. We don't need another guy like that to drag us down. We need a better guy. We need a guy to pull us up. We don't need an average guy, and we don't need a below average guy, and we definitely don't need an average guy who's playing below average. We need somebody to pull us up, somebody to inspire us. Pay a little money, you know. Altuve's a great guy to have in the dugout for many reasons, and we've got a couple of other key players in there, but we've got so many guys in there right now that are lacking someone to look up to who's powerful. Where's our powerful guy to look up to? I mean, the one guy we have is just always injured, and we have no idea when he's coming back, right? I mean, Jordan is clearly our only power guy. He literally is our only power guy. We have one. We have one power guy. And his one job is to hit the ball. He doesn't have any other job. Even if he never set foot on the field, if he never took a step on the field with a glove, it wouldn't matter if he were just doing his one job. And he's not even able to do that. And whenever they talk to him, I don't know if you all have taken the time to listen to some of the interviews to see what Jordan has to say, but it's really confusing. And I know that they're translating it, and I don't have access to the original Spanish or whatever, but he says things that I don't quite understand. At least I don't understand the translations, where they talk about, you know, he feels like he needs more time to heal. He feels like he needs more time to have rest. And if they could have surgery, you know, they would have surgery, but it's not really something they can have surgery for, or it's difficult to have surgery, or not really something you could have surgery for. It's like, can you just tell us what the problem is? Because is it just inflammation, and why? Because before, didn't they say, remember they said they gave him a couple of shots and they expected the inflammation to go away and everything would be okay? Because they said, you know, it's not the fracture, it's not a break or anything that's a problem, it's just some soreness from inflammation. We're going to give a couple of shots and everything will be okay. But then Jordan comes out talking like it's deeper than that, but nobody's saying anything. And so there are people speculating about maybe it being carpal tunnel or arthritis, or a longer term condition, something that he's going to continue to struggle with for a very long time. And this doesn't just hurt the Astros directly with their hitting. It also helps. It also hurts them in the pocketbook, and it hurts Jordan for his career. Think about that. The one thing that he's supposed to be doing is hitting the ball, right? Anyway, you're right, Jordan. A loss is a loss is a loss. But games like today really point out the holes. And the luxury tax threshold is something that the Astros are notorious for avoiding. You know, on one hand, I can understand it, but on the other hand, sometimes, you know, like right now, I feel like, you know, they've got to be debating whether or not they think this team has a chance to go deep into the playoffs. And if they don't believe it, then we're in for a really rough second half of the season. But the good thing is that we have several pitchers coming back. If we're blessed, then two of them will be performing really, really well. And then we'll have Pena back soon, and then hopefully Myers back soon. Maybe those guys can inspire the rest of our team, and we can get things back on track, and this train can be moving again. So all's not lost. It's difficult right now, and it appears bad, but all's not lost. Thank you all for being here today. I think that's it for me. I'm going to go make myself some lunch. It's about 12:23 in the afternoon. Time to eat. If Jordan does get hot and we trade him off, it might be a good thing if he's got a long-term issue. Better for him to be with another team than with us, if that's the case. Yeah, I wish we could keep Fromber. He's a consistently dependable guy for us. But I know people are mixed on it. Some people want to keep him and some people want to trade him away. But if we're going to trade him, we better get something really good. If we're not going to get something really good, then we better pay the man. But that's it. Thank you, Jordan. Thanks to everyone else. Thank you for being here today. Not a very enjoyable game, but thank you for the likes, the subs, the loves, and all of that stuff. And I will see you tomorrow for Game 3. Until then, Geaux Stros.